Goldsmith and Jewelry Shop right there on Lee Road.
Oh, man.
Daniel and I both got our wedding rings and our wife's engagement rings made at Goldsmith Jewelry Shop.
2 words, go custom. You got to go custom.
Yep.
You can save money and get a one-off piece of jewelry that's handcrafted by the artisans at Goldsmith. The Davids there are amazing. We got all of our rings, our wives, ours, and we have a listener on the line that did exactly what we said.
Yep. Thomas is on the line. How you doing, Thomas?
Good. How you doing?
So I'm looking at the ring right now on the email. Beautiful ring, and you got it custom made with Star. No, normally I'd make fun of this, but it's really subtle and cool. You got Star Wars emblems made into the ring.
It's like integrated inside of it, and if you know, you know. But if you don't, you'd never know.
Yeah. How was the experience, Thomas?
It was fantastic. They were quick in there. I was in there maybe 2 hours designing it. 2 weeks after that, they sent me the render. 2 weeks after that, we had the ring in hand and ready to go.
Awesome.
That is rapid fast, man. Wow.
Yeah. I won't tell your business on the air, but super affordable.
Yeah, it didn't break the bank.
Oh, yeah. Not bad at all.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, and no one else will have it because it's a custom design.
Yeah, well, Thomas, we did say that if you got a custom engagement ring at Goldsmith, that we're going to do something for your wedding.
Yes.
So that we're figuring it out, Thomas. But
we're definitely, we'll definitely, possibly,
we got it.
We're going to DJ it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that'll work.
Thomas, thank you so much for using our sponsor. Again, it's Goldsmith and Jewelry Shop right there on Lee Road. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We're going to jump into your voicemail messages right now. If you want to leave one, 1-844-TOM and Dan. That's 1-844-TOMNDAN or show@tomanddan.com for emails. You can also get our app and leave us a mediocre message. Let's try this one right here. It has to do with spam bots.
So, do they make an app yet that is a robot for spam callers? Like, you can answer the phone call and then have the robot app talk to the spam caller for you? I don't know. Seems like a pretty good idea. Call, like, Spammerbot? I don't know. Hit me up later.
Would the point of that just be to waste the scam caller's time?
I would assume so.
So you just have an option to like hit it with the answer with the robot?
I believe they've had that. I had it. I had one for a while that on my iPhone. It didn't work very well, but you download this app, and then it would, if it detected a number that had already been flagged by somebody else as a spam call, it would kick it immediately to voicemail, and then it would answer with a fake voice, and you could do whatever you want. Like, you could leave a recorded message. So, of course, I got on there, and I'm like, hey, man, and then the guy would talk. It only worked, like, maybe twice, and it wasn't funny, because normally the person's like, oh, you guys, I want to, they just hang up because they're mad at you.
I feel like most scammers now immediately hang up when they sense that they don't have you on the hook or you're messing with them or whatever. They used to be able to put, like, they would, no matter what, stay on the line, try to close the scam or whatever. Because we saw it. We were messing with them.
It's a shotgun shell effect, right? You have to scatter your calls. You can't just try as hard as you can on each one, right? You got to just keep going fast and do as many as you can.
Right.
You know what changed
Numbers game.
I bet you it was because everybody started to do it, because now you can put it up in your social media as a way to show other people you're messing with them.
Yeah, I want to say like 3 years ago or so when we first got in here, there were people that were constantly uploading their YouTube videos about, like, this guy gets back at a scam caller.
Yeah. That was a new. So then I think because everybody started to do that or tried to do it,
and just wasting their time,
then the scammers immediately will hang up, because we've tried it now where Daniel starts trying to mess with them, and then they'll send something and then hang up immediately.
Norm in our Twitch chat room, we're live on Twitch right now, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. He says he still answers every scam call, and he asks the scammer their favorite porn star.
You're wasting your life, Norm.
I think it's kind of fun.
Does that give you gratification?
Otherwise he's just in the Twitch chat. So.
yeah. I guess you don't got much going on, Norm. I apologize. I know you're one of the Tom Vanners, but I gotta say,
I got
not very busy.
On our landline, we get scam calls. We don't have we have the ringer up, but it'll light up. And I got May into it. If she sees it light up, she'll go over there and answer it and do a voice. It's awesome.
Really?
Yeah, it's awesome because she sees me do it. Now, Andrea says exactly like you guys are so similar on some things. It's so crazy. She also says that you drive her crazy, which I laugh at because she drives me crazy. But Andrea hates it. She's like, "Why are you guys doing that?" We're in the middle of dinner, and me and May are like, hello, like we're all. We love it.
I like the jokes. What it drives me crazy, what you do is you try to tell them to stop calling and take you off the list.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm
When
like,
I start yelling,
We're going to do the serious thing.
we're
He
gonna do
doesn't
the
like
serious
it.
thing. Oh, okay, yeah.
That's what I'm like.
But I'm not really serious. I'm just trying to make them feel bad.
Yeah, but I'm like, they don't feel bad.
They
There's
don't.
no list. You're wasting your life. Now, messing with them, there's at least comedy out of it.
Okay, I see
And
what
then
you're
I'm
saying.
like,
Still
all right.
wasting your time, though.
Yeah, but you're getting comedy.
Yeah,
And so
you know what? I understand you a little bit better now that
Does
you've
it make
explained
you?
that.
Yeah. It's like just by telling him and reprimanding them and telling them how could you do this? You're wasting. Please take me off the list. Why are you wasting my time?
Yeah.
Like, it's
I just don't even pick up.
Yeah. Now it's
That's
just
the correct thing to do.
you hit. Just hit red.
I don't know, hit anything. I just look at it ring.
Okay, well,
I don't like it to ring out. I don't like it because my watch will still be doing it, so I got to tap it.
Yeah, they're wasting my battery, scammers. Just exit out. And now it's literally anybody who calls you is always a scam.
But I got the
because no
weird
one
one
calls you.
yesterday where they cloned the number. That's scary. I hate that. Man.
Yeah.
And Andrea was calling me. And we were here. I mean, you guys were getting ready. Everybody's getting ready to take off.
cloned Andrea's
Remember
number?
when you and I were leaving, and they cloned it, and then I got a call. I go, remember when I picked up the phone and I'm like, hello? And you were about to walk out. That was not Andrea. I thought it was.
A scammer?
It was
I never had that one.
Somebody from China speaking, straight Chinese.
China? I've never heard of China. I've always India.
No, I this one like Chinese number or particular scammer has my number because I get it every month. I'll get the same one. I recognize it.
Okay, tell me if you think this. Okay, we gotta go, right?
Well,
we're
we gotta go in like 3 minutes.
Okay,
I mean,
so
you got
real
3
quick.
minutes.
So
Wrap it up, man.
did companies have to pivot from where their call centers are legitimate?
I think so.
Because now people are so accustomed to getting scam messages from Indian call centers that anytime they now hear an Indian's person's voice, they assume it's a scam.
Well, there was a huge bust too. Remember, like
well, the IRS scams.
yeah. So I think they probably
if
have
you're-
to shift.
If you're like Google or just giant company, Home Depot, and you need they outsource their call centers now because it's so much cheaper, and a lot of them are in India. But I wonder if they're as a company looking at like, man, now when people call us, they get the Indian call center, and people because of scammers have now associated that with
Yeah.
scams, and they don't want to tell them anything or deal with them. I bet that may
but then
happen.
there are also like a lot of customer service legitimate companies also put their customer service from India. So sometimes when you're calling, it is actually legitimate,
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I wonder if they want to not use Indian call centers because their customers are going to associate it with scams because that's what happened. If anybody calls me, even if it's legitimate and it sounds and they have an Indian accent, and this is just because the amount of scams that I got, and I hear a call center in the background, like a bunch of chaos, I immediately think scam. I think everybody does, right?
Yeah,
So
I think most people do. Yeah, I think that's why most people don't pick it up anymore.
So if you're a legitimate company, I wonder if you're like, I'm not going to use anybody with an Indian accent.
It's
because
cheaper though.
Are there any
It is, but I
companies?
don't know.
Are there any companies that have ever tried? And man, I'm telling you, you'd waste a lot of money because you got to think like, time spent, money spent, on working on it. But couldn't you come to America and find a bunch of homeless or people that like are really, really impoverished? They need help, and you get them, you hire them, you take them to wherever, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, wherever you got to go. You make a call center of Americans, expats, that relocate.
Yeah. All right, I like this. I was about to say, do you minimum wage and benefits? Okay.
No, they need it.
Yeah.
These are homeless men and women from Orlando,
but
and
they
you
have
and
American accents.
And you and
Okay, I'm going now.
TV media, we wrangle these people up.
Yeah.
We put them on a really nice. We get Scott York to help us rent some buses.
Yeah.
We bus them to
Mexico.
our MCO. We go over to the airport.
Oh no, yeah, it's easier. The plane flight's too expensive. Bus them straight to Mexico.
Okay, we'll get on the plane. We're on the plane. You and I fly to Mexico.
You can do
Sounds
any
like human trafficking now.
We fly-
I might be
no,
back
they
out.
were
trafficking
wanna do
bombs
it.
into Mexico.
Yeah, so we fly
Right.
to Mexico. You and I land. We get off
That's
the
fine.
plane. Sam and Butler, they were each on a bus. They were chaperones. Sam's a bus one,
Yeah.
Butler's bus
Oh,
two.
I don't want to.
We'll give you a rusty revolver. So
Yeah.
if they
Stand down! down. And if anybody does anything, all you got to do is click it a couple times. So they get off the bus, and then we have this warehouse set up.
Yeah.
We put all of our homeless guys in there. Next to the warehouse, we built 2 barracks, one for ladies, one for men.
There's got to be a bar or some sort of poisons around. We got
to get them hooked on something.
Well, they're already. We got to keep them alive by keep feeding them Keystone.
Yeah, we need more of that. We need more of that Mexican Red Dog.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
I'm out on this plan. I'm out.
Oh, I knew you were out.
Butler, get in here.
Butler's definitely
Butler, get in here. You got to handle 2 buses now.
Butler's dressed like a bus driver.
He's already got his hat on.
You're down to bust some bums down to Mexico? Of course you are.
Yeah, let's do this thing.
Yeah. There it is.
But you see what I'm saying? So then we start making calls. You get a scam call. You pick it up. You're like, hello? And you're like, hello? This is Steven.
They'll never suspect it.
And they're like, wait a minute.
This is not a scam call. No way.
No.
Yeah. You never get a scam call from an old American. This doesn't happen. Right?
You got a sweet old homeless grandpa calling you, and you're going to do everything he says.
Honestly, has anybody in the last 10 years gotten a scam call from an old white guy?
No. And if I did, I'd give him all my money. You know what I mean?
That's what we need to do.
All I need is a familiar American voice on the other line.
We're
and I'll give him
crazy. But then
I'm so stupid.
They revolt and
no, they won't revolt because
then the cartel gets involved.
No, we have a series of collars around their neck, and if they get past the fence, it blows their head off. Universal soldier. I think that's what it is.
Write that down, Travis.
I don't know how we're going to build it, but I'm going to need like 45 bum bombs. The collars.
That's the name of my punk rock band.
45 bum bombs.
All right. Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan.
So we've talked a lot about our fish tank that we have in here, courtesy of Top Shelf Aquatics.
I think we've actually done okay. Not a lot of casualties.
Yeah. I think when all said
we're hard on ourselves.
How long have we had the fish tank?
I think we've had it about 8 years now, 8 or 9.
Oh, we got it right at the beginning of COVID.
We did. It was like our fun COVID project.
Yeah. So,
and then we realized that everybody else had the same idea, and everybody when COVID first started, everybody's like, you know what? I need a fish tank.
Yeah. And
go hand in hand with a viral explosion.
So it's been about 7 months, and Steven, who is in the studio with us right now, he is the owner of Top Shelf Aquatics, or one of the owners. And
what's up, guys?
We talked to you when you set up the fish tank the first time, and you had told us about some YouTube stuff that you have been doing with a particular YouTuber, and we started looking at his videos, got a ton of hits, and we were fascinated by it because a lot of people don't realize there's I feel like in every demographic and every subject, there's some sort of professional YouTuber at this point doing content for
the specific lane. Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever you're into, say if you're into shoes, there's for sure YouTubers that just specializes in shoes.
But one of the most strange ones that I've seen is there's an old man that all he does is fix remotes.
Yeah.
Like remote controls. And I have used him twice. Once for my Bose soundbar remote and once for an older remote for my television.
Yeah.
And that guy is awesome because he knows he's the remote guy. He knows how to take them apart, refurbish them, make them work, replace the swollen battery. So it's very weird, man, is he useful.
Oh, there's carpenters
and millions of hits on his videos.
Yeah. I just feel like there's an opportunity for everybody in every genre and everything. And then even in if you want to put ocean, there's so many boat YouTubers and scuba diver YouTubers, and then you start leaning into fish and coral, and then there's YouTubers that do specializes in tanks.
If only we could find one of those.
Yes, and George is here with us today in studio from Coral Fish 12G. That's the name of your YouTube, right? Sorry.
Oh my god.
Yeah, world's worst name, but I created it when I was like 12 years old.
Well, George, thank you so much for coming in. And I wanted to talk to you about that because we constantly laugh all the time about radio interns' names.
Well, it's usually on like if we got a resume across our desk and we're looking at an intern we were going to bring in, and then where it says contact me, the guy's name is like Pokemon 69.
Yeah.
It's something very very childlike, and I'd just be like, oh god, I hate that, because it seems so unprofessional.
But then also, whatever name they give you in whatever intern position, booger, boner, there's a million different ones.
It sticks, and you ride it until the grave.
If you end up being a professional in radio, you usually stick with that name. So then you're a 45-year-old man named Boner, and that's in radio, though.
Yeah.
But it's similar a little bit to YouTube, where this is a YouTube channel you started when you were 12, you said?
Yeah, I was about 10 years old when I started in the aquarium hobby. And then I was, I think, 12 when I started the actual YouTube channel, so about 2 years after.
So what year is this?
Dude, this was back in 2010. So this is about, I think, 4 years after Google had bought YouTube for $1 billion, which is probably Google's best investment because it's worth trillions.
Yeah. And at the time, in 2010, there was a lot of content out there, but there's still, compared to now, it's just minuscule, right?
Yeah, so when I started, it was definitely something that, you just throw up on the YouTube to see how it would do, whether people were interested. And what I was doing was I was throwing my videos up of my fish tanks to see, hey, what did people think of these? Do you guys think my fish tanks are as interesting as I think they are? And then I started getting these comments from people saying, dude, this is amazing. Your tank looks sweet. How do you do this? How do you do this? How do you keep all your elements in check? And that's when I decided, hey, I want to start teaching people how to not make all the mistakes I made when I first started. So I started my educational videos, and then that's where it really took off, where I started getting a lot of good feedback from people. And, people were learning, and I was also, at the time I didn't know it, but getting a lot of really cool, developing a lot of teaching skills and sort of developing, how to become a YouTuber. So
and for a 10-year-old, I'm sure a 10, 11, or you're a young kid, for you to be teaching what I assume, if you have a saltwater aquarium, I just feel that's an older person's game, right? It costs some money, right?
100%.
I'm Steven, okay,
100%.
It definitely doesn't seem like something that a little kid would be monkeying around with.
What's your main demographic, would you say, Steven? And, obviously you own a saltwater aquarium store, that coral dealer. What do you say the age is?
I would say, the 30 to 50 male working class. Working to upper. But I think that's where George did really well, is because all these kids wanted to have Nemo at home, and they tuned into him, and that's where they kind of.
You guys were talking about remotes earlier, right? The guy who's making remote. With YouTube, I definitely feel like the riches are in the niches. And
write that down, Sam.
I have that tattooed on my belly, like Tupac.
I want it above my genitals, right in my pube line.
Yeah, saltwater aquariums is definitely not something you'd expect a 10-year-old to be doing, especially 10 to 15 years ago, because the hobby keeps changing, it keeps evolving, and I think it is now, just now, because the technology is making it easier. And because of YouTubers, I think, like me, what I'm trying to do is inspire the younger generation to get their hands on some aquariums, because I think they're really amazing teaching tools for a lot of different things in life. Money management. It's obviously a big responsibility to keep these kinds of animals, coral, fish, different invertebrates. So, but again, I have to thank my parents. They are the best parents in the world. And I originally, like any other kid, wanted a fish tank, like a fish bowl. Most parents would take their kids to Petco and say, hey, set up a goldfish tank.
Sure.
My parents were like, if you're going to do this, you're going to go all out and get the coolest thing that exists, which it was a saltwater tank. So my mom took me to a store in Chicago, very similar to like Stevens here in Orlando. And yeah, it was everything saltwater, and I absolutely fell in love with the coral. Just all the colors, the economic aspect of being able to grow it, being able to cut it up, sell pieces to other hobbyists. It just became, there's so many intricacies to the hobby that I fell in love with.
Well, you brought up a good point, George, with especially being as young as you were when you started, being able to maintain a saltwater tank. Listen, we got 4 grown adults in our studio here every day, and every time we go check it, we're like, the water, no more water.
I'm like, where are they?
The water. And
I thought something was in it.
And then I'm like, we ran out of fish tank water. And then Daniel's like, there's a whole jug. I'm like, no, that's not the fish tank water.
I didn't know if you were going to tell that. I didn't know if you really
I'm like,
wanted
that's
to tell
something
that.
different, I think. I think they told...
So
and
we had 2 jugs of water there. And
we have someone from Top Shelf that comes every week.
Yeah, and he was like, I don't think that we could use that water. And I go, well, why would they bring it then? He's like, that's a special water. I'm like, special water for what?
I'm like, it's making a noise. And we call Sean. He's like, no, he's like, turn the button. He's like, what button? I'm sending.
I'm like, there's water in here. My God, it's flooded.
It's more complicated than your normal fishbowl.
It gives me anxiety, and I suffer from anxiety, so it's a great thing for me to. I'm just look at. I was scared all the time.
So I imagine it's rare for someone at that time at your age to even know how to maintain a saltwater tank because of how complicated it is.
Definitely, and there wasn't a lot of info out there. I mean, there were some forums, but again, YouTube was just so new, and there were a few YouTubers, but they weren't presenting the info in the way that I thought it should be presented. Basically what I did was I started taking some of these really complex topics like coral growth and water chemistry, and I tried breaking them down into more digestible 5 to 10 minute videos so that younger kids or people just who are interested in it and just getting started could figure out how to do it.
What did your parents think at the time, and how many viewers were you starting to get?
Well, we know Mom
then?
was pretty cool because
Mom was cool, but Mom was also really strict, and she didn't let me do YouTube originally when I wanted to do it. And the reason my name is Coralfish12G is because she definitely didn't want me to use my real name because she was worried. Back then, again, YouTube was such a new thing. She thought like predators were going to come after me and people were going to, ruin my life in the comments and stuff. So I
mean, that's a valid concern.
That's a great mom.
No, back
you
then
got a
too.
dope mom, man. She's rad.
At the age of
amazing.
11.
People are the worst.
So
They
she
will
did
say
it.
terrible things.
it's
She
not
did
like you're-
everything she should. Protect, but also nurture and support.
Yeah,
right? That's pretty
It's
rad.
not like you're 17 and a half. You're like 10, 11 years
10, yeah.
old. That's young, Like I got a
Yeah, but
6-year-old.
she still let him do it, which I gotta hand it to her. It's really cool because I'm not that guy, Like I like last night, I didn't want Maisie to ride the electric skateboard we were talking about, but Andrea did, and I got worried about it, but Andrea let her do it.
What kind of views were you getting back then?
I'd say I was starting to get like 5,000 views, 10,000 views. I remember one of my coral, one of the videos on my aquariums got like 50 to 100,000 views, which I still think is amazing. I mean, 50,000 people looking at my aquarium.
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
Unreal. So,
was there a time where your parents were like, "Oh, you're getting too many views. Like this is starting to be something"? And then even at that time, because we all look at social media different than we did back 10 years ago.
Do.
Because 10 years ago, like getting 100,000 views, it seems to be easier than it is now. I feel like and people realize it's worth more now. Back then it was like, oh, you got 1 million views. That's what everybody was getting on YouTube. Like it seemed like it in the media at least. Like, oh, this video is viral. This is viral. And like you weren't happy until you had 1 million. But even at that time, were you like, oh, this is way more than I should have, or this is valuable?
So I think when it really hit me was when I was in college. So I started in, I think, elementary, did through middle school. High school is when I started receiving some checks from Google, and I started thinking, hey, this is cool. I'm starting to earn some money from it. Keep in mind, I'm a basketball player in high school. I played college basketball as well. And so here I was, on the basketball team trying to keep my social life in check, and then also like posting these super nerdy aquarium videos. And it was just, I was considering quitting and not doing it because I thought I was worried what people would think maybe when they found out and stuff like that.
Did any of your buddies on the team know?
Yeah, I think
that's very interesting because you see that a lot in sports, though.
Yeah,
you're not an anomaly. I mean,
they're bullying you.
But look at all the big name athletes that play like basketball, football that are they secretly have that one thing that they do that's like extra nerdy, like Legos or fish.
Oh yeah,
or
they got their
or
got
puzzles.
I never thought about that,
but it's very common.
This comes from the kid that walked across the stage with a fish.
But that was in college. That was after what I'll talk about.
Wait, you graduated with a fish?
Yes.
That's dope, man. I like that.
Hold on, you had it in a bag?
Okay, so when I was in high school, I kept doing it.
That is dedication to your aquatics.
In college, I think, is when I realized. I looked back at some of my older videos from when I was a younger kid and in high school and stuff. And I started seeing hundreds of thousands of views, and I started thinking to myself, "Wait a second, how many people are fit in the Dallas Cowboys stadium?" And I looked it up, and it was 100,000 people. So I was like, "This video has 200,000 views. You're telling me that many people have seen this. I think it just then started sinking into my brain, like how many actual people were watching.
And sometimes you have to visualize that. I like your idea of the stadium. That's cool.
That's what happened to us in podcasting. We're like, how many people fit in the conference room at Panera? And we're like, that many people listen to the show.
I was like, this is like 18 people, and I'm talking about one guy pushed against the glass.
That's a full Panera conference room.
Yeah.
And I'm talking the one near the soda machine.
It was pretty nuts. And my dad, who's also been extremely supportive through the whole thing.
Are they fish people, by the way? Or?
Well, I didn't know this until later, but my mom kept saltwater tanks growing up. But back then, the technology wasn't around to keep coral, so she only kept fish. So I didn't know this until, again, like 5 years into the hobby, but I think that's the reason why she pointed me in that direction.
That's
was
cool.
Like, do saltwater. But yeah, and then I think in college, when I started realizing how many views I was getting, my dad also was like, whoa, this... Because I think he was not paying attention at all to the YouTube thing for a long time. But when he realized the views in college, he really took on. He thought it was super cool and became even more supportive about it. And and then from there, obviously, probably like halfway through college, I really, really embraced it. Started taking my YouTube videos way more seriously, like investing a lot more time in the camera equipment and the production value and stuff. And then by the end of college, I was walking across the stage, getting my diploma, holding my clownfish in my hands with me.
Because at that time, you're probably getting so many views steadily that people in your college knew that you were the fish guy.
I was the fish guy.
Okay, yeah.
They were like, "Yep, that's the fish guy."
So let's talk about where the transition is to realizing, hey, this is a potential full-time job, and not only a potential full-time job, but a lucrative full-time job that I can, I might as well do this than any other job. I have the potential to earn more and do more doing this than any other. What did you go to college for?
Economics.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. So I do have a lot of passion in business and entrepreneurship, and that's also part of YouTube, keep in mind. But yeah, my entire life, I'd say, I think I always wanted to be a YouTuber. I mean, that's why I started making the videos, right? I saw some other people doing it, was like, wow, that really appeals to me. It's a really cool thing. And I was making a little bit of money from it in high school, which I used as a justification to keep doing it. Like, if anyone would ever say, hey, why are you making these weird aquarium videos? I'd be like, well, I'm making money from it, so it's kind of like my part-time job. And then they'd back off. They'd be like, okay. In college, I was making a little bit more money from it, and I think I had more money than the average college student, but it still wasn't quite enough to take to something I could take to my parents and be like, this is what I want to do full time, which was really scary for me, because I'd say all the way up until my senior year, I was doing this, and I think it really, I remember a very specific time, like middle of my senior year, thinking, wow, I'm at like 50,000 subscribers. I'm never going to be able to make enough money to do this for a living. And I remember sitting there and thinking like how disappointing that was. Then after my first then I had one viral video right towards the end of my senior year, probably like 2 months before I graduated. And that's when so that video went viral, got like 5 million views. And then
what was the video?
It was "Don't order fish off the dark web." And
we knew a guy.
Write that down.
Yeah, write that one down. And then the first one, I forgot already.
Yeah,
I'm having tilapia
the riches
from there
are in the
tonight. I'm a little worried.
That's what I go. Yeah, that's where I only order my fish
I
off the
only
dark
get my
web.
farm-raised salmon from there.
It stinks.
I ordered a mystery box off the dark web, and I ended up getting piranhas, which was like the scariest animal, the scariest fish I could think about.
Yeah.
And that's how I was teaching people about piranhas and how to take care of them. And I guess that video, what it did was it showed me, okay, this is what people want to watch. This is why people want to watch that. And then this is how much you make when you nail it perfectly. And it goes viral and it gets this many views. And then it all sort of hit me. And from then on, I really understood the YouTube algorithm. I totally understood the formula for making successful videos that are going to allow me to do this full time. And since then, I've had, many viral videos, and I've been able to replicate that process. And it was like 2 months before I graduated, and I started like realizing how these other YouTubers were doing it and how they were able to make full-time incomes.
So speaking of that, and when it comes to the business of YouTube, like I think everybody understands the basic math of there's like YouTube will put a commercial randomly in front of you have to opt into it, and then you'll get paid a certain fraction of a penny or whatever it is for every click or view. And then obviously they've made it a little more complicated now, where it depends on how long they watch it, and there's different algorithms for everything. But just at that basic aspect of the business, or like, all right, you opt in to have a commercial put in front of your video. How much money can the average person make if you wanted to be a professional YouTuber? Like, what's the, I guess, the subscriber level or view number that you have to hit to equal X amount of dollars?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it took me a long time to figure this out. But the subscribers, which forever I had thought was the key thing in, if I can just get to 100,000 subscribers, maybe I can do this full time. What I didn't realize was you don't get paid at all for how many subscribers you are. And so one of the things I realized was it's nice to be well liked, but it's nicer to be well paid. The money actually that you make from YouTube comes from the views. And so I figured out, okay, I need to actually increase my views. The subscribers will come with the views. There's also a big misconception that people think, I'm not getting any views because I don't have any subscribers, when really it's the opposite. You're not getting subscribers because you're not attracting views to your channel.
That makes sense, yeah.
It's kind of like, even in our business, we have the people that listen to the show, and then we have the BDMs, the people that pay, and then the people that listen, there's that amount of audience, and then it gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah, what you're saying is smart, though, and it's funny, because I would have never thought about it that way, too. But, like, people don't get, like, if you got addicted to something, you have to try it before you...
Right.
Yeah, you need the view number, and then you're going to.
And then if you really like it, you'll subscribe. Sure.
People don't subscribe until they've seen maybe 5 or 6 of my videos in a row, and then they're like, actually, I like this guy's content. He's offering me a lot of value, and then they click subscribe.
I like that.
So let's talk about the content. So obviously, when you are kind of, you're in a situation where you do content about fish tanks, so the content's limited to that. I'm sure you do way more, and you have adventures, and we'll talk about all that stuff. But so when it comes to producing content, I'm sure you start having to get creative. Like the more and more content you do, it's like, all right, I've done this subject, I'm sure after hundreds and hundreds, you're like, wow, what do I do next? So how do you come up with what your next video is going to be about and stuff? And like, do you do multiple about the same thing? Like, do you go back to like the tried and true, like, everybody loves clownfish, I'm going to do another video about that? How do you come up with
clown?
Yeah, how do you come up with the content?
Well, I always think about it, what would people be interested in learning about that they don't know about? Or what's a misconception, right? So like, everyone thinks that piranhas are really scary, for example. It's one of the most, it's used in movies as like as a villain. And when I did my unboxing from the dark web and I got piranhas and I taught people about piranhas, what I was teaching them was, hey, this is how you keep them in your aquariums, but also they're very shy and timid animals, and they're not as scary as the movies make them out to be. And so I kind of try to use things that people... I tried to reverse, stigmas or what people may think about certain things in that sense. But it always just depends. I actually feel really lucky that I chose aquariums, or at least I focused on one niche, because I think it gives me an unlimited amount of things to talk about. I see a lot of people will just go to try and be, your typical vlogger, right? They'll try to just do everything. And when you spread yourself so thin, or you're choosing so many things to talk about, your audience is going to be all over the place. So where I've been able to be lucky, again, the riches are in the niches, is build up an audience who's all really passionate about, some people might be really into the saltwater stuff I talk about. Some of them might be really into the freshwater stuff. Some might like, the
coral
versus koi versus plants or whatever it is. But I just feel like there's so many different facets of it. And there's everyone. I've also been surprised to see, to learn the industry for aquariums is so much bigger than even I always think. I mean, it surprises me how many people keep aquariums, and it's massive in the United States.
Yeah, and we've talked to Steven about that.
Yeah, I didn't know it was as big until we met Steven.
I mean, there's some freshwater companies, pond company that he works with, and it looks like the business looks like a Google outside. I mean, it's literally like, holy cow.
Yeah, gigantic.
It's huge.
And just from talking to you and about the mass amount of coral that you distribute across the entire country, the business is gigantic. And that leads me to when you started, because I know you work with Steven and Top Shelf, and I assume you work with other people in the industry now. And that's kind of where I'm seeing like YouTubers, they're starting to partner with companies and brands and do stuff that's kind of outside the traditional, hey, I'm going to put up a video and then have...
Well, it's marketing, but there's also a consumer value in that, like you said, there's an educational aspect to it.
Also,
it's not just a commercial. You're not just begging me to buy something,
You start talking about brands and other people's businesses like Top Shelf, and you're like, hey, this is what Top Shelf is. And then there's like a
collaboration.
And then, of course, Steven's brilliant to partner with you and do stuff with you because that's his demographic and that's the audience, and there's a lot of money in that. Like, I'm sure if you had a podcast about grilling, let's say, and you got to
God, there's so many,
and you have hundreds of thousands. Now all of a sudden you got Kingsford or some other giant barbecue company is like, hey, I want to do business with this guy. He's got 100,000 views every video about grilling. I want to give him as much Kingsford stuff and then pay him to talk about it. So that's where the next incarnation of money and stuff comes from now, right? Is like personal relationships with advertisers.
Yeah, so the check that YouTube sends every month is just one revenue stream, right? There's being a YouTuber, you definitely have to diversify the different ways that you can bring in income, because that check, depending on the views go up and down, right? Some months you'll have a really popular viral video, and some months you may not. So one of the things I did was, definitely start working with brands like Top Shelf, which is a fish store here in Orlando, Steven's. And that just makes sense because Steven, Top Shelf, is one of the largest coral collectors, growers, and sellers in the country. Yeah. They're the best at what they do. And then I feel like I do what I do, teaching people about these things really, really well. And if I want to teach people about coral and how to grow your coral the fastest and the biggest and where you should buy it from, I mean, it only makes sense that I'd partner with the company that is doing that at the highest level, right? And so that's where Steven comes in.
Do you ever get contacted by anybody that gets mad that, and this is maybe this is a bizarre question, but I'm imagining some guy that's like a professor that is studied coral and fish and an oceanographer. I don't know what do you call a professional biologist, and he's done this his whole life. He's a professor or whatever, and then he knows all this stuff, and then he only talks to 30 people or whatever the class size at a time, and then now you
his reach
have this huge reach, and you just self-taught, I assume. You didn't go to school for it, but you have all this knowledge, this huge reach, and you're the face of this. Yeah. And do anybody ever reach out and be like, oh, I don't know what they'd be mad about
it, but maybe correct you, or maybe feel like you don't have the right amount of info, or anything like that.
Or do you give some information that he's like, this is wrong. The clownfish has 4 eyes. You know what I'm saying? Something. I know what you're saying. Small detail that you said in a passing comment.
Well, people are passionate about animals, so I could see that happening for sure.
Does that happen?
Judge everything he does.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times I'm under the microscope. I mean, even for me, the hobby, my enjoyment for it does take a little bit of a hit in the sense that I have to film everything I do, right? Like when I want to change my filter or when I want to get a new fish, I can't just have the pure satisfaction of unboxing that fish and just putting it in my tank and, I have to...
Oh, God, you nailed... That's my hardest part with playing video games on Twitch.
Yeah.
Because that's my time to just not be doing broadcasting.
Right. And so it's you have to set up the camera and you have to make sure all the shots are right. And it's... so in that sense, but I do... ultimately, I want to educate people on the hobby, and what I've been doing this whole last year is I went over to places like Indonesia with Steven. I went over to Australia,
those I
Singapore.
Watched. That was cool.
Yeah, and I wanted... I was going to the facilities that breed or collect or produce a lot of the different animals that you get in the aquarium hobby. And so I think the more and more I've gotten into it, the more curious I become, where does this stuff come from? Who is making it, or who's creating it? And I am obviously an economics major, entrepreneur at heart. And so I'm very, very, I'm starting to get into the deeper levels of the industry. So I think I wouldn't call myself, again, going back to the biologist thing. Yeah, I'm definitely not a biologist in any means, but I do, and I wouldn't, even consider myself necessarily an expert, although I think I am extremely knowledgeable in the hobby. But
you've been doing this since you were in elementary school, so
you're not a noob.
I think with aquariums, I'm maybe not. I think I would consider myself an enthusiast. I'm super excited, super passionate, and super curious about aquariums. And then I have a platform where I've done so many different videos within every genre and niche now of the aquarium hobby. I feel like I am very well versed.
Almost like a database at this point, right?
Yeah, I feel like my videos are slowly becoming that, a database, like almost like a library.
Like he did this shark killing video in Australia, it touched me. I was like, man, that's like something you see on Discovery Channel.
Oh, awesome. You killed some sharks?
No.
We're pro shark guys because we did the feeding at Stewart Coves, and we met what's her name? I'm blanking on her name.
Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte was a dive master there, and she teaches everybody the misconceptions about sharks and why we're murdering them. And really kind of we kind of knew that, but it's basically the complete opposite of the earlier Shark Week when they would villainize them. And basically it became fun to kill sharks.
Or their banded mall. That was cool.
So exactly. And I feel like every time I get to the edge of one part of the hobby, I sort of reach the beginning of a new part. And I'm like, whoa.
That's the one thing you and I don't do with our business. We have run out of passion, and there's
nowhere to go.
And it can't be stopped.
We're at the end.
Yeah. It's literally
nothing there.
It's a boulder that we hate rolling down a hill that we hate even more. That's what I describe it as.
So other social media people, and I've seen this with you familiar with Daddy Longneck?
Sure.
Instagram.
Why you got to embarrass me?
I'm just saying, he has teamed up with the Wide Neck, and there's a bunch of other necks.
The Neck Gang.
And then there's some other, the Eyeball guy, and then
and then the guy without the chin, he's the best. That guy.
Chin. And it seems like a lot of content providers and stuff, they've realized that by getting in with each other and promoting each other, they increase their audience numbers, and it makes sense. If in the same genre, you get in front of their audience, and it's going to Venn diagram. So there are other YouTubers that are into fish tanks and reef people that you work with to extend your audience.
Yeah.
How many followers does Joey have?
1.3 million, I think. Yeah. So
Joey Shark Killer? Oh, I love that.
There's a lot of aquarium YouTubers, and there's a lot of different subgenres of the aquarium hobby. So it's kind of perfect in that sense. And some people are just freshwater, some people are just saltwater, which is what I started as. And then I kind of, kept expanding. So I, did saltwater. I expanded into freshwater, brackish. And then one of the collabs with a creator I did was there was a pond guy by the name of Greg Whitstock. He builds people ponds in their backyards.
It's crazy.
And which are basically essentially massive fish tanks, massive outdoor fish tanks.
But they'll have their own ecosystem.
Wait a minute. I asked this question. Remember, I said, if I got rich enough, could I make a gigantic outdoor fish tank? And you guys said I was an idiot.
Well, you were talking about saltwater.
I seriously said that.
Do saltwater.
Saltwater would be difficult just because of the top off, because of the evaporation.
Sure.
I saw some YouTuber they filled their swimming pool up with saltwater, and then they put coral and fish in there, and they swam around. There's the big stunts too.
They got a lot of heat for that.
I bet.
With aquariums, any animal for that matter, there's a lot of balancing with the information with the entertainment, right? And there's two parts of it. So you can go super heavy on the entertainment, but then really not have a lot of regard for the animal's well-being and what kind of an animal you're putting in what kind of an environment. For me, I really prioritize that. I've always been super educational, and I've wanted people to be able to keep their animals for a long time in healthy ecosystems, right? So what I do is something called infotainment, where I find something educational and I try to bring an entertaining side to it and combine it, the two. I do see a lot of YouTubers really heavy on just entertainment, and I don't know if there's a lot of longevity in that, because I feel like you always have to just keep outdoing yourself.
Yeah.
You have to do something even crazier than filling up a swimming pool and putting sharks in it, which is I don't know.
Pretty probably irresponsible. The fish.
Partly.
I thought the same thing because with Steven, what he's taught us about even our tank and how delicate.
Oh, we take it real serious, man. Like, we'll make jokes, but when it comes to that, like if something happens, we freak the f out. Like I lose it. I'm like calling him and what do we do?
Well, it's just because we don't want to hurt the animals or put them under undue stress just for some dumb stunt.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just depends. I mean, I think there's a lot of aquarium YouTubers out there, and there's a scale between like where people sit. There's a lot of really great educational ones, but then unfortunately, I think there are a few that linger on the side of irresponsible. So, but I think eventually viewers, I think the longevity in having a career in this is being able to is with the education. People coming back to my videos to learn more or to see what I'm into next. Like one thing that I did with Steven in Indonesia was scuba diving. So for I'd say 10 years, I was keeping these corals in my aquariums. And then eventually I was like, well, wait, I want to see these in the wild. I want to go to the Great Barrier Reef and Fiji, and I want to see the actual corals in their natural habitat. And so I got really into scuba diving the last year and a half. And that's like a whole nother hobby. It's like not even aquariums. It's completely different. So,
and there's YouTubers that are professional scuba divers. That there's tons of YouTube channels that are scuba diving, and I don't know if you ever interact with those guys.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it just depends, right? Like if there's synergy and it makes sense, then I love collaborating with other people. But it always depends. Like with the pond guy, he built me an awesome pond. I went to Japan, handpicked 10 amazing koi, brought them back, and then put them in my pond, and they've been living there ever since. Now some of my favorite fish. Would never have understood the world of koi collecting, the koi breeding in Japan. Would never even have gone to Japan to do this if it weren't for collabing with Greg and him building me a pond. So So
let's talk about that, because I imagine you have some pretty impressive personal tanks at your house, but you have to travel a lot. So is there...
You're going to have a tank boy.
Yeah, is there a balance where, like, you're a busy dude, you're young, and you're, creating content and doing business around the world, so it's not like you can have that many personal tanks without... I mean, I'm sure you have people taking care of them, but what's your personal tank status? You got a... koi pond fish.
Yeah, I have 13 personal aquariums and I'm one pond. And I'll try to get all the animals. I have my clownfish, my reef tank. And then I have a mantis shrimp. At one point I had an octopus. I had crayfish, pufferfish, starfish, seahorses, flower horns, discus, cichlids, koi fish, piranhas. Really, you name it, I've probably kept it before.
He's a hoarder.
I'm not a hoarder. I like to showcase. I want to teach people about these animals. They're animals I love, and they're all super unique, and so that's why they all sort of need their own tank. So that's why I have 13, is because I don't just shove all these in one tank.
Right.
They all need like a very specific environment, right? Like a seahorse needs a really slow and chill vibe versus... I'm
a seahorse. Tom's more of a chocolate starfish.
Yeah.
So what? Okay,
but when I leave on my trips, I'm very lucky. My parents, and shout out to my cousin, Big George. He will, I've been able, and people like Steven back home who own fish stores, I'll have come in and check on stuff and everything.
Mad ups to Big George.
Everything's very well
good looking
after.
Out.
So.
Oh wait, Big Matt. What was his name?
Big George.
Big George.
All right, this is a question for both of you guys.
I want to get his shout out correct.
So, say Steven obviously didn't provide us with this awesome fish tank that we have from Top Shelf Aquatics, and say it was just.
I was going to bring in my daughter's sea monkeys.
What kind of fish or something that I could have in there that both of you guys would go walk up to and see it and be like, oh, this guy means business. He's a serious enthusiast, because this one is hard to take care of. That means he knows what he's doing.
And let's make sure we never get that, because you guys are terrible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, we only have to have them see it. We could have somebody rush it and put it in there, then they see it, and they leave. And I'm like, get it the hell out of here.
Save it.
Yeah,
fish and rock neems. They're easy to keep alive. Or also the shrimp. The shrimp seem indestructible. But
yeah,
those things are popping their heads off, throwing them in the corners every 5 seconds.
What would be impressive to you guys if we had in the tank that would tell you that we're serious about fish tanks?
Coral or fish?
fish, like something living.
Anything saltwater.
Anything?
I think almost anything saltwater, yeah. Because it would show that you have an understanding of the ocean and how a lot of chemical balances work.
What if I told you we're flat earther?
Is there
a mantis shrimp.
A mantis shrimp?
A mantis shrimp, something like that. Something kind of like an oddball, super unique, something that, you would need a kind of a specific environment for. Even seahorses.
Oh, we got some shrimp. What kind of shrimp in there got in there, Steve?
Probably cleaner shrimp.
There's some red lobster, basic beach shrimp.
They're the basic. Those guys. Oh, yeah.
I want the mantis.
Yeah, those are your standard clip art shrimp. It's a red, and it's got the things.
Octopus? I imagine that's hard to keep alive and care for.
Yeah, one of the...
all they eat is peanut butter, I read.
He did a video.
They're super smart animals, super intelligent. So my octopus tank... before I left for some of my travels, I gave the octopus to someone else who would care after it because they are such crazy intelligent animals. They know how to escape their tanks. They know how to even escape their tanks, go into another one of your tanks, eat the fish, and then go back into their own tank.
Yeah, they're kind of terrifying to me because of that.
Yeah.
One escaped on the plane when he took it home. That was a video. It's viral, too. Yeah.
Like on the plane?
Octopi on a plane.
One of my biggest
Sam
videos,
Jackson's in that.
octopus escapes on airplane. And what happened, unfortunately, was I was taking the octopus. So octopuses can ink, right? And in the ocean, they ink to escape predators and for camouflage. But when you're transporting an octopus, if it inks in the container, it can actually kill itself. Like the toxins in the ink can kill itself. So I didn't want to, when I was ready to purchase an octopus, I didn't want to have someone ship it to me because I was scared. Oh, if it inked in the box and it's in the box for 24 hours, I would hate for it to die. So
Tom inks in his sleep all the time. He drinks too much, and his wife's like, "You're an alcoholic," and he's like, "Ink, ink, ink." Oh, it's bad.
Inked in her underwear drawer. Too inked in here. I'm like, I don't know. That's crazy. He's a burglar or something.
He opened the fridge one time and inked all in there. He sleep inks. It's bad.
Yeah. So it was here in Florida, and I was like, I want to go pick it up. I want to go pick it up myself and take it with me on the airplane home. So I can have it in a clear container. I can have it monitor it the whole time, right? Well, so I pick it up. It was actually here in Florida. I go through TSA with it. I go get on the airplane, and unfortunately, unfortunately, it inked. Fortunately, I was there with it. So I took it straight to the bathroom, changed out the water. I had spare water for that reason. As soon as I got it, happened like the last 30 minutes of the flight.
Can you imagine I walk in the airport bathroom and he's in there switching out his ink tank? And I'm like, what the? That would be bananas.
On the plane.
Oh, people are getting
on the plane. Even
there was
worse.
a lady in front of me, and that was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever done. Was I said, "Ma'am, I'm so sorry, but
I inked myself."
Exactly. And she's just like, go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. By the way, I make people nervous. You're on a plane holding a bag of that was just a bag of black water with an octopus inside, and then they're like, "What's that guy doing in there?"
Yeah,
he's lighting his shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
I think anything suspicious you do on a plane, you're holding a bag, and people get nervous. So now, how many different places have you traveled to? Where are you now in your professional YouTube career? Because what I find interesting is there's never been anyone before us. We're professional podcasters. There's no one to look at and be like, oh, those guys.
It's weird. It's weird.
They did their whole career. We have radio guys to look at, but most of them
I don't know many people that do what we do.
They get fired because they said something racist on the air, and then you never hear from them again.
Yeah.
And so it's there's no one before us. So what is the overall consensus of can this last forever? Is there a forever audience? Do you see, because we've seen this, a dilution of there's just so much content out there.
It's just so saturated.
That when people even ask us now, hey, I want to start a podcast, I'm like, good luck, because and we tell them that, just like you said, it's start it on something specific. Don't just start a comedy show.
The riches are in the niches. He told you.
Yeah. And then, so what is the current, your current status and the current state of professional YouTubers?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I think, I don't know. I've been lucky enough that YouTube, this hobby, it's taking me now pretty much around the world. I'd say I've been to 20 or 30 different countries, everywhere from, like I said, Japan to Israel to Australia, and just exploring the aquarium world, all the different fish and coral and stuff. And that was my dream. I love traveling, and I'm very lucky that I've been able to do that. I think that I've been able to build up a following that definitely respects all those experiences and all that knowledge and those connections that I've made. And I think they understand that I'm really serious about what I do, and I'm not necessarily just trying to, get my quick, I wouldn't even know what to say. Quick, moment in the spotlight.
You're 15 minutes, and you're not doing this because you want to be popular.
And your channel has that vibe. Like when I tuned in after Stephen telling us about it, like it does, the educational aspect of what you do does set you apart. I feel like.
Yeah, and it's tough because I think a lot of social media creators, they look to things like more traditional media, things like TV. And things, for me, it would be maybe the equivalent of Animal Planet, Discovery Channel, those things. And that was always the goal for content creators, was like, I want to have my own show on Nat Geo, right?
Yeah.
But now I feel like I don't know if that's something that I would really want, because I feel really like currently I control all my own content. I control what I want to do.
It's
and
go the direction you want. Yeah. And you're not going to be forced by some producer and show writer to be like, hey, do the, and then I know that this is not.
So here's what we're going to have to do. Big George is in the attic. He falls through.
Yeah, you start lying.
He breaks the tank.
And then your audience, your own audience.
Creating like a
yeah, they don't even want to hear that from you because they know you.
Weirdly enough, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the TV show that ran on Animal Planet for over 15 years, Tanked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so, that's some people's
They've done some stuff around here, I think.
Yeah, sure. And so that's some people's first introduction to aquariums, which is great. I think everyone has their place, right? Every video on YouTube, even if it does as little as inspire someone to maybe want to keep an aquarium, that's wonderful. That's awesome. And they'll eventually find other more educational channels. But I wouldn't say they were very well perceived by the aquarium industry at all. I mean, they were, the fact that they were so overproduced as a TV show made them not be able to really go into the nuances of the educational aspect, and it really upset a lot of aquarium people who were like, that's not really the right way to add a fish to a tank. You can't just set up a tank in one day. And
because it's a bunch of showrunners that have no idea about aquariums running that show and telling those guys.
And it's not even their fault. Yeah, they just literally they have to, by the producers, do exactly,
And the aquarium world is like this BS. There's a bunch of BS because they're trying to be the most popular to everybody.
Right.
And that, I 100% agree with you. And then it doesn't become authentic anymore.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure where to go next. What I do know is a business I started while I was in college that has grown in the last 2 years is Aquashella. And Aquashella is an aquarium event, a convention. It's a festival for all aquarium enthusiasts, and it's something I started back home in Chicago. The second year we expanded to Dallas, and then this next year, 2021, we are expanding to a third short here in Orlando. So we're going to have Dallas, Chicago, and Orlando, which is crazy. And our last Dallas event, we had, I think, 7,000 people come. And probably the Orlando one will be our biggest. We'll probably have 10,000 people come.
Wow.
So
awesome.
That's been awesome. And I think so growing that business, creating an environment where people can come together and share that passion, and all the creators can come and collaborate and meet fans and meet people who are super stoked about it. I think that's one way to encourage the longevity of the hobby.
Awesome.
As well.
I love it, man.
George, thanks so much for coming in
appreciate
again.
the time, man.
Coralfish 12G, if you want to follow him on YouTube. Steven, Top Shelf Aquatics, right down the road if you want to get into,
it's amazing.
Being a tankman, as we say.
You could sign up and get the emails like I do and see all of the stuff that we can't afford.
The world of aquariums.
Yeah.
Like all these awesome, I love showing him the ones that's like just one little tiny fragment. How much is that one?
Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much for having us.
I appreciate the time, man.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
Tom,
Samantha and Butler are here. We were just kind of sitting here, and we have to wait for thighs. Really, Daniel? Thighs? We have to wait for files to propagate and whatnot because of the computers. And we're just talking to the guys in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. And there's a gentleman in there, Tommy Gilligan, friend of the show, fan of the show, friend and compadre of Samantha and her husband.
Karate man.
He's a jiu-jitsu man, a karate man. I'm trying to be a little more respectful.
Also, he's a hero. I've seen him save multiple drunk people's lives from the show.
One of them,
both
Tom.
of them, me and Tom. Basically.
I think maybe he saved me too. So you can throw me in there.
I told him a bunch of entertaining stories on the ride, and that to him, I bet that was payment. That made his year.
I could. You did. I mean, it would. I'd have to see which stories you told.
Imagine riding with your hero, and then he tells you like all these insanely funny stories. Deep.
Some people dream of riding with their hero, and then some of us get to work with our hero and podcast with them all day long, buddy. And I want to thank you for being my hero.
I told him about karate, and
then what he tell you? You fell asleep.
I told him about,
and then you dozed off while he was driving. Okay, so anyway, Tommy Gilligan and your husband, inspired by friend of the show, the man of 1,000 names, Tony Monget. Who used to be Tony Rodriguez, who used to be Tony... Wait, okay.
Tony
Monget, who then used to be Tony Rodriguez with a Y, and then was Tony with an I, Rodriguez, then Tony Rage with a Y. But, so now he's Tony with an I, Monget, who has a skateboarding blog called Stay Young SB, Stay Young
that's his
Skateboards.
clothing apparel
That's his clothing
line.
apparel. And then Tony Loves Skateboarding is his blog. And so he inspired your husband and Tommy to skateboard. Your husband used to skate. Tommy, karate man, 40 years old, has never ridden a skateboard in his life and is now taking up like actual ollie skateboarding,
at 41.
streetboarding.
Okay, so like street skating, like like because there's a difference. Like I understand if maybe you want to take up.
You get like a banana board,
or like a longboard,
longboard, and then
you got knee pads,
you're just cruising,
tall socks, and you're going down bombing hills,
and you just want either to let gravity take you down the hill, or just learn how to balance on the board and kick it to move forward.
That's a standable wheelchair at that point.
But when you're learning how to street skateboard or street skate, now you're talking about going up ramps. You're talking about learning how to grind.
Well, you're maneuvering on the board,
or at least the basic tricks of the ollie,
right?
Which is super difficult to do, and I don't know. I feel like at the age of 40 or even around this bubble, like taking it up now, we've got to be extremely hard.
Yeah, I mean there are people that I know that can't wear a paper mask, let alone ollie.
I mean, I had trouble when I was a teenager learning how to ollie while moving.
It's hard.
I could ollie and then kick flip and stuff.
Stationary.
Because you could practice that on your bedroom floor.
But that took me weeks of practice when I had nothing to do. So I can't imagine how hard it is to learn in your 40s to do any of this.
Tommy checking in from the Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. He says... Only been to the walk-in clinic twice so far. So I'm going to imagine if he doesn't have pads, we're going to see some wrist injuries here.
Yeah.
My husband got nerd gloves, fingerless gloves.
You got to get gloves. You tear up your hands. Like my daughter,
he did tear up his hands.
My daughter's been tearing up her hands, so I have to make her wear pads now.
I saw my wife fall recently. It was like 2 weeks ago at the old Cimarron Skateway. And
did you laugh or were you taken aback?
No, I laughed at first, but the boys wanted to take a lap around the actual main roller rink instead of the kids area. So then she rented skates, and I told her, I was like, listen, you don't bust your ass. You're going to regret it for a long time.
Bust your teeth out.
And then she was going around. About the third lap, she did the move where I think Max, he was trying to adjust his skates, and then she bent over to help.
Oh, you can't do that.
And then it threw off her center of gravity, and then her feet shot out from under her, and she landed straight on her hip. And almost blew her tees out.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
What?
Because
I'm okay with that.
She's wearing like a billowy blouse.
Yeah.
She's wearing
her skating blouse.
And,
I like to get the wind on my nipples. balls when I'm skating.
From sheer force of landing, it almost
that cross your heart bra exploded.
Cow! Blew the frecklers out. And to this day, her jaw still hurts because.
Well, that was because you punched her. You told her never to embarrass you in front of the PTA again.
How does that work?
She was thrown. She went like the chiropractor said. Like sometimes when you
there's duty flies.
I'm being attacked.
When you jar yourself like that, it could somehow move your jaw.
One of your breasts broke a jaw.
It's something to do with her alignment and her jaw being off or something. Anyway,
how much money to get Sam at the roller rink in a frilly blouse? Let's end the world.
All I'm saying is when you fall straight in your back in your 40s,
it hurts.
You feel it for a long time.
My wrist is still screwed up from a right before COVID electric skateboard fall with Maisie, the one where she laughed at me. This wrist is still screwed up. It makes noise now. It's obviously sprained or compromised in some horrible way that will never heal correctly again.
When is too old to learn something?
I don't like this conversation.
You know, this is literally the opposite of what Tony Mangiat is trying to say. Stay young. Stay young. Keep doing things. You're never too old if you keep trying.
Here's the problem. Tony's been skating all his life, and he didn't just start skating at 38.
He's a Venezuelan wunderkid. Like he's honestly like one of the most artistic and athletic people I know.
He took some time off, but he's been skating on the weekends.
Knows his audience is fat, Dad.
I know. I'm just saying.
Don't kill his clothing line.
When I see Tony skate, I'm like, God damn, that's good. Like I see him in his on social media. I'm like,
great.
whoa, like you did a hard trick at your age, and like
I feel like he's gonna put this in the "you gave me the wrong beer at the zoo" file.
Like
but I'm just saying,
you're ruining his business.
I kind of feel like he's gonna email us later.
Like
what are you
I could be a stay young bro of my apparel line, and it's me.
You're gonna steal half of his tagline.
Stay young, bro.
I think it's better.
What are you promoting?
Pabon, make me a Stay Young Bro
no, what's
logo.
the logo? Is it you? Is it like you're like...
What kind of lifestyle are you promoting here?
This is more like Assault Life, right?
It's,
that's what I feel like.
It's me, I'm crouched down and I'm holding my chin in a boy band like... presentation.
Like then, what? Like a big timer? Like
and then it says
number one stunner?
Stay young, bro. Like, but in silver balloons. Like,
he's Robin Thicke. Got a big old...
okay.
Yeah.
So big silver balloons, stay young, bro. And then
I'm Pharrell.
And then Daniel's on the side.
And then I'm on the side with a Pharrell hat. A huge Pharrell hat on the side, and it's Stay Young, bro.
And then Samantha's a girl with big, nice boobs.
I got a skating blouse on.
She's got a skating blouse on, and she's fallen, and they've exploded out, and the world is ending in the background.
We got the Chopper doing, though.
No, he's not in.
He's not in there.
We killed him off this season.
Yeah. By the time we got to this point.
But he'll come back as a robot in season 4. It's like a Data scenario.
Anyway, in my Stay Young Bro brand, if I was promoting like riding dirt bikes or whatever, like, and I'm, and I got back into it, I started riding every weekend, and then I'm like, all right, everybody stay young, bro, but get a dirt bike. And then you got Chungus, or any other fat dad. He's going to do that. I've seen my friends that have rode, like, this happened twice. Like, once to my buddy Enrique, who's Brazilian, who learned English through watching the show Martin, which I told Samantha.
The Portuguese man of porn.
No, it's his brother.
That's his brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's his brother, Felipe. Oh, my God. This is Enrique. We were riding in Miami, and there's a dirt bike track near Homestead, and then there's a gravel road with a canal on both sides. And the first time he wanted to learn how to ride my 2-stroke, a 125 Honda 97, and he got on it, and then I was like, all right, you got to like feather the clutch out because if you let it out too much, it's going to violently rocket you, but if you don't have enough throttle, you're going to stall out every time. And in the first couple times, he's like, and he dumps the clutch and then stalls out. He does that about 4 times. Then he gets frustrated, and then he decides to give it like,
it's the worst thing to do.
And then proceeds to dump the clutch, rocket, like do a wheelie into the canal, where he literally went into the canal where we had to pull my dirt bike out. And then Fernando did the same thing, except for he did it on the gravel and tore his torso to shreds as he's sliding down the gravel because guess what? Hard to do.
Yeah.
Hard to learn how to do it the first time.
There is quite possibly nothing I enjoy more than watching people accelerate too hard and wheelie into fences or canals or through backyards or any of that. It's the best.
Yeah. And so I understand with a better teacher and you probably could learn how to just putt around, but you're not getting on the motocross course and doing knack-knack. So, it's that takes years of training. And I think you got to have some sort of base in there. It's hard with that. It's like learning how to play soccer, and then you can't kick with your left foot because you didn't learn.
True, but the whole using a throttle on a motorcycle with a clutch to me is almost even harder because you can injure yourself severely.
Yeah, by doing it wrong.
Like, I remember as a kid being over at a friend's house. My parents are doing like a poker game or Uno or some, like one of those community family card game deals. And they're playing, and their buddy had just bought a motorcycle, and he came over. The Quintessential came over to show everybody.
Yeah.
And everybody comes out, and they're looking at it. And I remember one of the guys that was playing asked to take it for a ride.
Yeah, and usually happens. Yeah.
Yep, and I remember he got on it, and it was like a pool party / summer scenario. He was shorts, no shirt, cigarette out of the mouth, and he goes to turn around, hits a patch of gravel, too much acceleration, lays it down, no shirt on, and literally comes back, and then the rest of the night they're just picking gravel out of his back.
There is a video.
I remember that.
It's been played on America's Funniest Home Videos, but in the 90s version, back when they weren't afraid to show people seriously getting injured. And this was of a gentleman that either was testing out his friend's bike or got it, riding his bike for the first time. I don't know which, but he had no business riding it. And Daniel, you'll know what it is. But he was riding a custom full bagger.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets on.
I can probably find that.
And
it's a black guy, right?
Yes.
Yes, I remember this. This is legendary. You and I have watched this video together probably 100 times.
And he gets on, and they call it like OS throttle or whiskey throttle or whatever, like where you pop the clutch and you start going, but the acceleration is pulling you back. So therefore, it's pulling your arms back because they're holding onto the handlebars. But because you're not a motorcycle rider, it actually gives you an extreme acceleration because you're twisting the throttle back simultaneously. Like, for instance, the physics of it pulling you back is causing you to rocket
your body.
Because you've now twisted the throttle more, and that caused this gentleman to rocket towards a car, and it tries to get, but he slams into it violently.
Oh, and it's a series of overcorrections.
No helmet. You're like, oh, that guy. He came like a sea hair from dying.
Yeah, I think I found it. Now, this guy's got a helmet on, but it's one of those ones that doesn't even count. It's like a little brain bucket. Like, that thing's not going to stop you if you get into
this might be a different one.
Is this a different one? Because I thought this was it. I'm going to go ahead and play this one. Here's the guy.
Oh, no. This is it. Sorry.
I like they put the little fun music in the background right before someone's about to get hurt.
He's got $39,000 tied up in that bike.
So this, okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, full
that works out to about
he dressed like a Harlem Globetrotter. Watch it. Oh, there it is. Oh!
Stop!
I like how they're laughing, but this, he's got no helmet on.
No, he had a helmet on.
Oh, you're also laughing at his dream going away.
And
that's not very funny, is it?
If he would have gotten his foot or leg caught in between that motorcycle. Right. I mean, that motorcycle
crushed it.
How much does that thing weigh? It's
oh man,
it's
a lot.
Over 1,000 pounds, right?
Yeah, because it's a big V twin. It's the biggest bike they made at the time.
That thing will incinerate your legs.
Oh my god!
If you got that copy, and he's going like 40.
Yes.
Oh, he gave it. He wanted to do that move that everybody does when they get a new car or a new motorcycle, where you're leaving the person filming you, and you give it a little juice to show everybody that you're a competent rider.
But it looked like he didn't know how to ride. Like it looked like it accelerated and threw him off, and then it did what I said. Like, it accelerated more, and then he got all wobbly. Like,
Tactical says a gold wing's like 900 pounds. So
So that man,
and I think gold wings are relatively light to any of the other like Harley baggers I've ridden.
Motorcycles, at least for the motorcycle, you need a license by the state at least. So it's like so there's some sort of vetting process before you get out on the open road. But like boats and things, Andrea sends me boat fails all the time.
Could have been a thing where, like, when he did the training course or whatever to get his license, like it was like on a small.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And so once he got on there, he didn't even realize how much different it was going to be. I don't know. Yeah, it looked like he had never ridden one before.
Andrea's obsessed with kook fails now and people in boats that wreck them, and it's like it's a disgusting trait that she has now.
Because boats, you could buy a huge boat and never even have any experience driving it whatsoever, and they'll just
RV, right? You could get an RV.
Yeah. RVs. You could buy one.
Go and buy. Could you go? Well, no, you couldn't. I bet you they wouldn't let, you couldn't go and buy a tour bus.
You need a Class C license, maybe, but maybe not to purchase it, because I don't know if they make you, because I could, if I had the money, I could go buy a semi-truck.
You think these good old boys check your license to see if you got the right stuff before you pull it off the lot?
If you're buying 110,
they don't have to know if you're going to drive it. They're just selling it to you.
Yeah, it's out of their control now. Yeah.
And listen, they want to sell you a $110,000 tour bus.
If you're dumb enough to drive it, that's on you. Yeah,
they're not responsible for what you do after it.
Correct.
So, and now if you get pulled over by the cops, I'm saying you can go out and buy like a 42-foot, which is pretty big, but not insanely big boat, and then just rock it down the intercoastal, and no one, and even if you got pulled over, it's legal for you to drive that without.
That's crazy.
Now think about this. I had an argument with my wife about this. Do you think that a bus gets pulled over more or less than the average car? I think less.
Less.
Oh yeah, less.
Because it's too much of a hassle to get him off the side of the road.
Well, that, and I think the cop is probably assuming that this person is vetted, has a license, or it's like driving this size of a side of a vehicle. But I see a lot of semi trucks pulled over on the side of the road and a cop behind them. So
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, you've
you
seen
see
that
a lot. I don't see it a lot.
I see a decent amount.
Yeah, I guess not a lot, but I've seen it happen enough where it makes me think that they will pull them over. And it won't be like, I can't do this because it's going to be, a hindrance to traffic or something. Did
I ever tell you guys last year about the saddest thing I saw at Christmas season?
No,
I don't know.
It was a van that these people must have been coming from, like New York or something, down to Florida to visit relatives, and they had all their presents on the top of their car in one of those weird spaceship sliding container deals.
Oh yeah, the camping egg.
Yeah, and it had not been secured correctly, and they had all the presents were like stereotypically red and green and gold wrapped, and they'd been hit by what appeared to be 100 cars and just blown every gift in the wrapping paper just blown all over the road, and then the cars off to the side, and the families all standing out there just looking at cars continue to hit their presents. And it's just scattered. And me and Andrea rode through it, and it was really sad, man. It was really sad. Because I was like, can you imagine being that dad? Do you just stand there? I would, and I'd say, everybody in the car, we're not going to watch this. We're getting out of here.
Well,
I'm leaving. I don't have to watch that.
You wait until there's a break in traffic, and then you try to retrieve one at a time.
There's one isotoner glove when you run up there.
Oh, my God.
And you do that move like the football drill where you have to run and pick up something on the other side of the line and turn around. You sprint and then slide. And
you do mountain climbers.
It's like what Benny did in Sandlot when he grabs the ball. I just watched that recently. And he
holds up.
He's in a stare down with the dog, and the ball's between him and the dog. He grabbed the ball, and he's chasing. Yeah, they run before the car hits you. By the way, speaking of Tony Mongetta, he looks like Benny from Sandlot. I saw it, and I thought to myself, that's racist to think.
It is?
But it's true. Look at Benny from Sandlot.
Yeah,
look at Tony's website.
He's also changing his name to Benny from Sandlot.
I'm just saying, it's not just because, he's tanner than everybody else. I'm just saying, it looks like him. Anyway, sorry.
I'll do one more.
My sons love Sandlot, by the way.
Oh, it holds up.
Yeah.
It holds up.
Didn't he get arrested for something?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, Benny from Sandlot.
Yeah, one of the Sandlot guys.
It was the fat
it sounds like he could get arrested, right? It sounds like he should.
Now, speaking of Sandlot, okay,
please, you go ahead. People love the Sandlot.
I do. It's one of my favorite childhood movies.
Yeah.
I was like, is Tommy and Max, are they old enough to like get what's going on? You know, because they usually like to stick to cartoons or CGI movies, you know? So like this is a real action movie and maybe it's going to go over the head a little bit, but they enjoyed the whole thing. You know, they liked it. But the one part where the nerd pretends to drown in the pool, Squints, and Tommy likes Squints, by the way. For obvious
of course
reasons.
he does.
Yeah,
And then
Squints for life.
and then the hot lifeguard jumps in and then gives him mouth to mouth, and then he does that move which the boys thought were hilarious.
Yeah, don't be surprised if Tommy doesn't try that a couple times. You know,
well,
like,
that's the thing.
yeah,
Because,
I think he will.
because then Crystal, we were like, ha ha ha. Then Crystal's like, ah, and then the boys were like laughing a little bit, and then they were confused, and then Crystal was like explaining, like, oh, he's trying to sneak a kiss, and they're like, ah, but I'm like, don't try to sneak.
Do not do that. Yeah.
I'm like, this is
Why did she clarify that?
But then he goes outside the fence and she gets horny or something. And then in the end, they're
No,
like,
that's not.
That happened because at the end they're like, they're married now with 9 kids. So at the end of the movie,
Squints gets the girl.
yeah, he got the girl and had 9 kids, so he's bang crazy.
Yeah.
And then
If
if
this room's a squinting, don't come on.
I'm just saying, it's I mean, it's indoctrinating my sons, sneak some kisses sometimes,
No.
and it'll work out at the end. You'll get to.
I don't think you should promote
Well,
that.
that's what the movie's
world
telling us.
is
Yeah,
just
but
a
that movie was
series
made a long time ago. Different time.
Well, not only was it a different time,
And
it was
also,
portraying.
it's not real.
It was
Yeah,
made in the 90s, about the 50s.
Yeah, but it's portraying a different time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
I don't
but-
know. All I heard is Squints for president.
Oh, what am I supposed to tell my boys? Like, I obviously don't sneak kisses. Don't.
Consent. That's what you teach your boys.
Yeah. Well, the movie is
So
teaching them
Benny
different.
grew up to be a firefighter, and then at some point he assaulted someone at a at a Halloween party.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Holiday Inn Express. That's sad. If you're
I wanted to be a baseball player, but I assaulted someone at a Holiday Inn Express. It's almost the same thing. It's close.
It's close.
Without the money, it's the same thing.
Oh, my God.
Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I was doing exactly what you were doing in your brain right there.
I was just trying to think of where this was going to be, and
I got nothing. I tried to do what you were doing, but I had no answer. So I was like, he better have an answer. Samantha's here, Butler's here, and one of my favorite guests is on the line. And you mentioned something before I pull up this gentleman. You said you were going to go to his Instagram and just kind of take a peek at some of the things he's been doing lately.
Yeah.
And he comes up in my feed because I guess that's how your algorithm works. It's people that you like or that you enjoy seeing or spend time on their page. That's what you see more of. So I saw this particular gentleman dressed in a costume, but like way past what I thought Halloween was. So then I thought I'd missed another holiday and I started to freak out.
Yeah, I did see Pat dressed as Michael Jackson or some version of Michael Jackson.
Well, at least he didn't go blackface. He didn't go blackface, which was...
But still, I wonder if he got the memo on Michael Jackson.
No.
Long gander.
Long gander.
Cadillac Pat's on Skype with us. What's going on, Pat?
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
Good, man. How you doing? So
have you gotten the long gander memo?
I have gotten the memo, but I don't care. He's the king of pop.
Okay, all right.
He's also the king of a few other... the king of the long gander. You know, like...
He's king of ganders. Someone call him.
That sounds like an actual
Gander
king.
Mountain.
Yeah.
Then he gets sued.
So Gander Mountain is where they all go and meet for their secret meetings. Yeah. Never go to Gander Mountain. Oh God, and never take your sons there. But I don't mean the store. It's a great store, but never mind. I can't say that.
There's a whole section of binoculars.
No, you can't even say that. It's a real company. But you have to take the company away from.
You got to change the name.
Yeah, you got to change
You're
it.
like, oh God, Mr. Gander.
Sir, I have some bad news.
Michael Jackson.
We're gonna have to pivot. How about sports and more?
So, Pat, I'm looking through your Instagram, and you can follow him at Cadillac Pat, and it's a fun Instagram to follow.
It is.
Because Pat's always up to something, and he's dressed like
It's whimsical.
Michael Jackson or some other 90s robot.
Well, what I was impressed with is that Pat had Not only was he dressed like Michael Jackson, but he didn't do blackface, and then his girl was dressed up like something that seemed 80s or 90s or retro.
Britney Spears.
Britney Spears.
Oh, okay, Britney Spears.
One more time.
Okay, Britney Spears.
A totally different genre.
Arguably, I was staring more at Pat because he's just, to me, he is the star.
Yeah, Michael Jackson, Pat, I'm kind of embarrassed. Michael Jackson kind of represents the 80s more than the 90s, right?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. He's kind of both.
Especially, but I had a late birthday party for my girlfriend, and the theme was to be dressed as some sort of like pop or some sort of icon, and we all had to be icons dressed up.
All right. And also, Pat, I'm looking at your Instagram, and it just looks like you're having more fun than I am for
no
sure.
Kids.
Yeah. Maybe it's the no kids because the other right before that picture of you dressed like the gander is you on a swing, joyfully laughing like a child with your girlfriend.
Well, he has extreme mental problems. Like, why is this? When I do the okay, no, I'm not saying he's not having fun, Sam. What I'm saying is, when I do these things, you guys point at me and you go, "Well, look at his mental problems." When Pat does them, you're like, "Why are you doing it?" It's mental problems. It's the same as me.
I'm not joking. I haven't had fun on a swing since I was a kid ever.
Aww.
And I've gotten on swings before with my sons or whatever, but I've never actually let out a joyful laugh or a smile or whatever. Like it was not fun to me. It was more of a.
When is the last time you had fun?
Define fun. What do you mean?
No, well, wait a minute. Reverse the question. You define fun because you're the only person on this show that seems to have a problem with it.
The problem,
you know what? That was aggressive, and I apologize for saying it that way. I didn't mean to do that. I lashed out a little bit.
There's kid fun and adult fun, and I just assumed.
Well, fun is fun.
Yeah,
but
fun's fun. Write that down.
AJ number to number.
Yeah, that's good.
Adult fun.
All I want to do is zoom, and a boom, boom.
Like gambling, getting effed up. You know what I'm saying? Anything. If you turned into a donkey on a magical island, you do.
Smoking a turd cigar. In a Mustang convertible.
Yeah. There's like nefarious activities.
Shooting pool at trick shots when an old lady's pants fall down.
Like standing around with your friends, just drinking and it's just and not on a swing,
burning a bum's tree fort down.
That's more of a teenage. That's in between. That's
what I was trying to think of.
Okay, yeah. I'm just saying. It never even occurred to me to just get on a random swing and start swinging and having a joyful time with my girlfriend. Well, you
don't have a girlfriend. You have something far more nefarious.
Maybe that's the problem. Is the crow?
She's having meme fun.
Yeah, I mean, she seems to be having fun. The boys are just balls of laughter. You're the only person that seems to be suffering.
When you become a mom, then I think your only fun is like giggling at memes and then getting loaded at night on wine, and then the occasional yelling at your husband.
But then occasionally you guys perform with each other.
Yeah. But that's not. I wouldn't put that in the category of fun.
Well, why are you doing it then?
Well, I'm doing it because
it's not your American duty.
I got to relieve myself.
Excuse me?
Well, I mean, you don't even need her for that.
No, but I do.
Just go to Pornhub, take the pills.
I do.
Drop them.
But hey, guys, look at this. Look, I got a present for you. Look, watch.
He got bored of our show.
Because we're not fun.
Yeah.
My cat just killed a snake.
Uh-oh.
Oh, my God. Is this what it's come to? Welcome back to Walmart TV. Where your DJs.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he killed it good.
What is that, a little baby snake?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a...
Oh, it's not even dead yet.
Well, don't pick it up. Okay.
What kind was that little black racer?
It doesn't
Put it out of its misery.
Bite you and kill your 90s dreams.
Well, it may not be in misery. How could you
Let's
determine?
check it.
Oh, your Wi-Fi, you can't get past the garden gnome or the Wi-Fi goes out.
Yeah. So
this is where we're at now, folks. We do Wi-Fi shows with snakes and cats.
Are you bringing the snake inside your house?
Sorry.
What'd you do with the snake?
He ate it.
I let him go. He was alive, so I let him go.
You know what? Your wife would really be turned on right now.
Oh, listen.
She would be as horny as she gets.
Pat? Did we talk about the turtles with Pat yet? Because this
I don't know what that means. Is that a poo-poo thing?
No. This is a thing because every time Pat has saved more turtles from the world. He's the turtle king.
He can't decide whether he wants to be king of 90s or king of turtles.
He saved hundreds of turtles off the side of the road.
Yeah.
And every time he saves them, he sends a message to my wife.
Just getting you hot.
He's flirting with her.
Yeah. I don't know. It's something like that.
Moistening your withers.
She remember that for the withers.
Yeah.
I just talked to your wife on the phone last week too.
Wow.
Oh my God! It's about real estate.
Well, what are you refinancing your Michael Jordan cardboard stand-up?
I had a question about getting solar panels on my roof, and she said, "Don't do it." So I'm not.
Don't listen to her. Crows don't know anything about solar. They fly in the sky. They don't know.
Yeah, they can fly next to the sun.
Yeah.
She's apparently anti-solar, which is the first business I'm going in after this thing fails. I'm driving into the ground.
You know, wow. The only people I know that are anti-solar are also anti-mask.
I'll start mass emailing all the BDMs first, and then they'll start unfollowing me and be like,
well, they're already doing that.
They'll feel bad. They're like, oh, God, he's hassling me about the solar again.
So, Pat, what have you been up to, man? How is bartending, and how is being Orlando's greatest 90s icon?
It's been pretty good, actually. We've been a little slow at work, like everybody else in the bar biz. But I've been still doing some traveling. Me and my girl went down to St. Pete for a day and to Sarasota for 2 days just for a little getaway. And I've never been to Sarasota, and it was cool. It was a little rainy, but it was still fun.
So now that you mention that, I'm looking at your Halloween party pictures, and it's you in the quintessential airbrushed T-shirt that makes it look like you're wearing a bikini.
Okay.
I miss those. So those were a hot thing in the 90s that we don't.
That's what I said. That's why I wanted to get it.
Why don't we do a Tom and Dan one?
Well, you know what we have now? We have those the one pieces that make you look like a man. The women wear, but it's it
looks like a beer belly.
Yeah, it looks like a man's hairy chest.
Yeah. I don't like that.
Yeah. It's also supplemented and it's too detailed. It looks too real.
Here's why I don't like it. Bigger girls are wearing those and then pulling up their stomachs. Like dumping their stomachs out to be funny, and it's not funny. I know funny. That's not funny.
It's unfortunate.
It's horrible. Yeah, it is.
It's like, that's unfortunate.
You're right. That is the noise I make. I don't go, I don't. I just go, oh.
It's not. You're right. It's not funny. It's not. I don't find it anything else but unfortunate.
And then all I can think about is later that night after you did the video of you doing it. Because I wouldn't even do that. Look, I need to lose more. I'm lighter today than I have been. I'm happy, but I'm trying to get this belly off, right? Yeah. But if I wore that, I'm not going to post the video because everybody's going to go, oh.
I've realized you could use the term unfortunate and you can get away because people are like, I think so. You could be like, this person their looks are unfortunate.
You know another
and then it's not me. Okay.
You know another one I found? There was somebody that bought something and they were telling me about it. Do you ever have the friend that buys something and then they tell you about it? I probably do it to you. Mm-hmm. I tell you about it and then I'm wanting you to be like, excited about it.
Oh, yeah, I'm never excited.
But if you don't but what if you don't like the person's purchase? Or what if you think the item that they bought is a piece of crap, right? Oh, you know what you can say?
Oh, what?
You don't have to, you just go, you know what? Enjoy that.
Okay.
Right,
that's another one.
Because it's a nothing.
You got to be careful, though, because it can come off a little passive-aggressive, but you just go like, hey,
it's all in the tone.
Enjoy yourself.
Have some fun.
This unfortunate person is enjoying themselves.
Jeez.
I get that a lot because I buy a lot of random crap at antique shops and all my vintage clothes. I show people and sometimes they do that like, oh, okay, I see what you got there, and they don't say they like it. They just tell me, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what does Cadillac Pat do for Thanksgiving? Do you have a tradition that you do?
He gets himself a Nike turkey and he pumps it. Right? Remember that bit?
Do you
get a Nike turkey?
Do you go to
I was doing the SNL bit, Pat. I wasn't trying to be...
okay, this is a serious question that I do not know. If you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, whose family's house do you go to for Thanksgiving?
We had to hit both.
We got to hit both, yeah. We try to. Well, my parents live in Fort Lauderdale, so I'm not going down there this year. But a buddy of mine here, I have a neighbor friend, a German guy named Wolfgang, who's a good friend of mine. I was at his house last year. So we're going to hit my girlfriend Kaylee's parents first and then go to my buddy Wolfgang's after.
Now, let's talk.
Wolfgang, look at Michael Jordan!
So, Pat, let's talk about this. When you show up to your girlfriend's house, do you show up in
He tones it down.
full?
He does a solid 2005.
The dad like, don't let your...
Hey, you don't let little Yachty be jumping up in here wearing his goddamn starter jackets. Oh, look, everybody, it's Brett the Hitman Hart. Oh, so glad you can meet with us, Dale Earnhardt. Take your glasses off, goddammit. We're talking politics.
How does that work, Pat?
She actually pulled me aside and she did tell me, she gave me that look like, hey, honey, for Thanksgiving, can you please just... And I said no.
Yeah.
I said no. I did before I knew where she was going. I said,
always wear my LeVar Burton glasses everywhere I go.
So I told her I would tame it down a little bit. I wouldn't wear one of my satin jackets. I'll tame it down a little bit.
Okay, when you tame it down, what are you talking about? Yeah. Because right now you're
probably
because right now right now I wouldn't go to court with you. I would not.
Yeah, that's a guilty.
Yeah. I wouldn't walk through a Chuck E. Cheese with you right now.
Especially not just like Michael Jackson.
Oh my God!
We're back to Gander Mountain.
So what do? You just have like 90 socks or something?
Yeah, you gotta have something like your underwear is completely 90s, but on the outside you're 2004.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll ramp it up to mid 2000.
That's what I was thinking. If you could just go Z Cavarici, I think you're good.
Do all denim suit like Justin Timberlake in 2007.
I was going to do that for my icon party in Michael Jackson, but I couldn't find a denim suit.
And she could have had the denim dress that Britney had. You guys could have done a whole couple thing.
We talked about it, but we put this party together like in a week, so it wasn't like I didn't have real time to put together a cold.
Now, when you're planning these super spreader events,
yeah, it was a big deal.
How do you decide how many and who to invite?
So, Pat, I'm curious if you're anything like me, where if I'm at like let's say my wife's family's get together, or a friend's family, or wherever where I'm not around people that I know too well, but that kind of thing.
Acquaintances.
Or family of your loved one.
It makes me very uncomfortable because I don't want to talk to people.
I just acclimate to whatever they are, to path of least resistance.
Yeah, I do
no arguments, no nothing. So if anybody brings up anything, I just make comments that makes them think that I'm with them, no matter what
that
they
could
say.
get dangerous.
No, because I don't want.
You go with it until you have to leave, even if they're going to commit murder. You have to go in.
I've told this story before, but one of the earlier. this was, I think, I was even married to Crystal. I may have been just married or whatever, but I went to a family Christmas, like maybe a Christmas Eve dinner
BC.
or something. And
before Crow.
There was a boyfriend of one of the cousins or whatever there, and he was the new guy.
Hey, man, let's do acid.
And the boyfriend was sitting there, and we were at the new guy boyfriend table with our.
That can be fun because you're both fish out of water. That can be.
Yeah, you're both news. You guys bond over that.
Yeah. No, I don't bond with anybody because I keep to myself.
He's unbondable.
I keep to myself. I keep my head down. Yeah. It's a high school scenario. I'm there to get out of there.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say anything controversial. I'm not going to give a tell to anything.
It's
how
like
I feel.
Sitting through a corporate webinar. Don't ask questions. Don't retain information. Just literally float outside your body until it's over. You taught me that.
Get drunk.
You taught me that.
Yeah. If there's booze involved, great, because I'll just be quietly drunk.
If there's not, remember booze, remember the feeling, and try to make the molecules in your brain make you drunk.
But I remember there was possibly a drunk uncle or something that was talking about how Obama was going to take our guns away.
You got to go, hell yeah, he is.
And then this guy next to me started chiming in and be like, I don't think that's the case. And I'm like, you idiot. And they attacked him and killed him.
They will.
Verbally.
Well, they will. They'll take you outside.
And they disown, and then the
and then you're eating your pie alone.
The family member, they disowned him already. Like, he was banished. No one ever talked to him. And me, I just sat there dead.
I've been that guy before. I learned my lesson.
Shaking my head in disgust.
I've been that guy before where I got the text the next day that was, well, geez whiz, Dan Lee, you sure are passionate about this. I got that one, which means I went too far.
No, you'll never say
so
nothing.
I never vowed to say. I never vowed to greet anybody anymore. I don't even participate.
So, Pat, that leads me to your question. When you're over at your girlfriend's parents' Thanksgiving celebration, do you start telling them your stories?
It's hard to do that with a Milli Vanilli wig on.
Yeah, you start talking because I mean,
like you're pulling your Robin Fab braids out of the stuffing.
I think that a certain person wouldn't understand what you're doing, Pat. Like me and Daniel,
totally.
we get it. We get the fun-loving aspect of it, and YOLO, all that.
Yeah, I understand that what you're doing right now is an element of drip.
But let's say if you were explaining this to my pop-pop or my stepdad, he wouldn't think you're insane and also be mad at it.
Well, my dad wouldn't think you're insane, but he certainly wouldn't shower with you, if that makes sense.
So do you pretend to just be a regular old bartender working your way through law school?
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still in school, yeah. No, I kind of do it like you do. You kind of stick with what they're going with, and I mean I still be myself, and if people are usually, if they see me for the first time, they usually ask why, like they want to know what's up with me. So I usually kind of be the life of the party. I can't help it want to make the party fun and have a good time.
If you really want to freak people out when they say like, hey man, and you're like, hey, what do you have? And then do it just like that. Be like, oh, hey, how you doing? What do you have, man? And he's like, you know what? I'll take a Miller Lite. Just a draft's fine. And you're like, all righty. And you put the napkin down. And you're doing the thing. And he's like, hey, your outfit. Like, why do you do that? You should turn right around and go, I was born this way. It'll freak them out. It'll freak them out because they won't know
what's going on.
And then just stare at them like you're horribly offended.
Okay, I can do that.
All right, and then report back and see I want to know what they say. They should instantly go into apology mode.
So, Pat, we're getting close to Christmas time, and of course,
what's your Christmas wish?
There are gift giving, and are you a good gift giver, Pat?
I think I'm a pretty good gift giver, but I stress so much over getting like my mom and dad and my girlfriend. It's really only I really ever buy gifts for anymore. I stress so freaking hard over it that I can't stand the Christmas time of year anymore. And working in the bar biz, it sucks because everybody always wants time off. We're always open. You got to always play with the dates to try to get people, like everybody wants to be with their family, but you got to be open. It's kind of a stressful time for me.
So your girlfriend, let's talk about that. Do you blatantly just ask her what she wants, or do you try to figure it out, therefore making the value of the present more? If she really does like it, then you came up with it on your own.
I think he communicates with his girlfriend. That's no slight on you, sir. I'm just saying blanket statement. I'm just saying.
I try.
I'm just saying that I think he communicates with her, so I think he knows. He also looks like they meld together well. You guys look like you have a very active coitus life.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, like I would like to come over one day. And, just play some PlayStation 1. I'll bring a...
So do you ask her what she wants, or you come up with it on your own?
I ask her to continually tell me, like if we're out and about and she sees something that she likes, I ask her to tell me that she liked it so that I can put it in my memory banks to try to remember to get it.
Now, like a red plastic soup bowl?
No. For you, Pat.
Tom got his wife a red plastic soup bowl one time.
Because I like when someone has some sort of theme to them or overall interest that because it's easy to buy a gift for them, for instance.
That's how I am.
But I hate that because then you become like, I'm the cigar guy.
Yeah.
And then you've got like, the lady that collects the turtles.
Yeah.
And then you've got
whatever, they like it.
She loves spoons from different states. I don't know. Then it just becomes like, you don't want that after a while.
Yeah, but how many garbage presents do you get normally?
Do you know what I am?
What?
And it's sad. I'm zip tie boy.
Okay.
Every Christmas, I get 1,000 zip ties. And I have for like 20 years. I don't know. I have too many now. I wanted it too at first. The first 3 years, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah, right.
I love zip ties. Now I'm zipped out. I got more than I've got those big zip ties that you can literally put on a person and throw them into a river. Why do I need river zip ties? I don't need those. In fact, it's just I shouldn't have them.
Maybe it's because I guess buying a gift for Daniel is hard because I don't know. It doesn't really. Nothing jumps out that I think that I can get you that you'd be like, oh, because anything you want, you just go out and get yourself. And then if it's a piece of technology, I don't know enough to know what you'd like because it's very specific.
You, honestly, what I would like is just like for you to go to lunch with me one day and not talk about the show and just for us to spend some quality time together.
Wow.
I was serious.
I know you were too.
A step too far. What do you want?
Wow, that one.
GoPro?
Can you see that? I got a little.
That is unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. Man, I must be a ghoul.
You want a GoPro stick? I'll get you a GoPro stick.
I don't want a GoPro stick.
What year is it?
I don't know what the things are. So, Pat.
Tom, will you give me a present for Christmas?
All right, let's think about this.
If it's quality time and lunch, I'm going to be pissed.
List, please, before the end of the year.
What? Okay, so
you did a top 5 list a little. You tried to do one like yesterday, and then we all got weirded out, and you.
I wasn't doing it. I was just
sort of,
but
you
just didn't say the numbers.
Yeah, but if the vibe had been bigger, you'd have made it bigger. I could feel that you were testing the waters.
No, I was doing the Galifianakis that he did on SNL.
You don't have that out of that? Give me that.
So, Pat, if I was going to get you a present, the problem is I don't know the old websites you buy all your 90s garbage from. I'd have to search where to buy 90s stuff on Google, and I have a tough time searching Google. Every time I try to do it, then I'm like, it's nowhere. And then Samantha's like, it's right here. Every time.
I was a little freaked out because earlier today you had Travis increased the font size on your email.
Yeah.
So now you can only fit 3 to 4 letters per screen, and it's very weird.
It just showed me how to zoom it in so I can.
And you have your glasses on, and you're all saddled up on the computer, like my dad trying to like when my dad was trying to learn the manual for his Toshiba laptop, and he hated computers.
So is it at a point now, Pat, where you've got so much 90s stuff that really? And there's no more that you could even. I mean, is there any sort of
Well, the next would be to pivot to a different decade, right?
Yeah. Are you ever going to move on? Is it always going to be 90s?
No, because I that was my formidable teen years in the 90s, and I just have a love for that genre, that time frame. That there's never enough. I mean, you could always find me a Michael Jordan T-shirt from the 90s that I will always. You know what I mean? There's endless stuff out there that I'm always like movies, popular movies from the 90s, or. I mean, it's endless stuff for me, and Cadillac-related stuff. People know that too.
Oh, yeah.
See, I forgot it now. Where does the Cadillac come in to the '90s superhero? Do you have a '90s Cadillac?
I have a '70s Cadillac, but I just loved Cadillacs, and I was Cadillac Pat before I was '90s superhero Pat. I've been Cadillac Pat since '97.
You know what I like? I like 80s Cadillacs because my Meemaw had a square. Yeah, I know.
They're huge.
Square.
Big.
So square.
Big boat.
It's built like an old wooden brick. It's just like a 2x4.
My Meemaw had this old black 90, it was probably like 92 Cadillac square body. And
my dad went through a phase where he ended up getting a Lincoln.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like in the same vein as like a Cadillac. It was a big, like a luxury car for businessmen. And I remember he's like, get in the back. And I'm like, I opened the door and it was new and it had leather interior, but it had those like seats that looked like big balloony. It was so balloony. And so when I sat in it, and I'm little, it was like, and I was like, all the way in the seats.
The brand
was hot. The leathers because it was too balloony and hot. Every part of my skin had leather on it.
They came out of the factory smelling like cigarettes. Goddamn. Also, it's metal and leather.
Well, the interior of
hot.
We had a friend, and what's funny is that we called him Neighbor. and then it just stuck. So his nickname was Neighbor. We just called him Neighbor.
Okay.
But he had a white Cadillac with burgundy interior, and it
that's
was
nice.
hot. But the carpet in it, I swear to God, the pile on it was 3 inches tall. So everything in it was hard getting in and out of because it was so balloony and cush. And when it rode, it would just kind of
it's like a boat.
you just kind of swell down the road. It was it was almost as a kid. I remember thinking this kind of sucks because it's like
yeah. So, Pat, so Thanksgiving, you're going over to your girlfriend's house. You're doing dinner, and we were talking about this earlier because Butler was telling us that now he's getting earlier and earlier. Like he used to have Thanksgiving dinner
I thought
late.
you meant erectile dysfunction. He's like as soon as I get it out, I'm done.
What's the correct time to have Thanksgiving dinner?
3 p.m.
3?
3 p.m.
What?
Okay.
I think 3 to 4. I think 4 is my nail. My 4 o'clock is my time. In my head.
Yeah. We bleed into 4. We usually start at around, I want to say 3 to 4.
How do you eat dinner at 3? That's you skip lunch.
Yeah, it's a late lunch, early dinner.
And I gotta have I'm going to 2 houses, so we're actually gonna have a super early Thanksgiving dinner at like probably 1 to 2, and then go to Wolfgang's and have his between 4 and 5.
Because traditionally what you do is you do it like, let's say you started it at 3 and then you ate and you're done eating arguably by like, let's say 5. And then you watch TV for a little while and the drinks are flowing and you got some football on or whatever. And then later you want that nice cold turkey sandwich. Turkey's already been put away, so you get out the pieces you've sliced, you little gravy, extra salt on it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Super good. I think that's why most people say they go early. But do you think more people eat it like dinner time, or do you think more people do an early Thanksgiving?
Probably early, and I think because you got to get everybody together. So I feel like if you put a happy medium like a 3 or 4 o'clock, you got to get a bunch of people together in one house, and that's probably easier to do because you're doing middle of the day as opposed to like 6 p.m. or 1 p.m. Maybe
if people have kids and stuff. Yeah.
3 o'clock. Like it's easy.
I don't think we're hosting anybody this year, so that's why Andrea said we can do non-traditional. There's usually a little pushback if you have older people in your family. If you want to do like lasagna or pizza or something, the older people in your family, they don't like it when things change. So this year we're doing carnitas, man. We're doing Mexican fiesta.
I just like turkey because I only get turkey on Thanksgiving Day pretty much. It's like that's why I look forward to it because I only really eat turkey that one day a year, kind of, unless it's sliced turkey.
Yeah, lunch meat turkey doesn't count for me. I'm with you.
Thick, dry.
Yeah, it's white meat. So it's dry. Oh my God, you're like, pah! And then you soak gravy all over it. So basically, you're just laying it back in fat, and flour, right, and butter.
I always feel bad that I'm not eating, it seems like no one ever...
Is anyone going to try my squash casserole?
I feel like a lot of the actual turkey meat gets thrown away, because no one ever picks it.
It's a big fat carcass. It's like, I don't want that.
Yeah, you got to use it for
How
leftovers.
are you guys with the cranberry? I'm a cranberry fan. The canned...
Yes, I'm with the can.
Yeah, canned cranberry.
My husband hates the can, and we're having a big fight about it.
Canned cranberry. I love it. You chill it ahead of time.
It's so good.
You let it go right in the thing, and then you go slice.
Give me that jelly can.
No, it's like a dog food.
What is that? Give it to me.
Gross.
No, have you tasted it?
I got a sweet tooth, so for me, I like candy.
Yeah, it tastes like candy. Like he says it's gross.
You're candy.
No, you're doing the vegetarian chili thing. You're doing it.
Yeah, you are.
No, hold on. If you put the gelatin cranberry out of a can and then candy next to each other, I'm telling you, candy tastes better. I'll die in that hill.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but it's not bad. It just tastes like cranberry. It tastes like a jelly.
It's like me telling my sons fruit is like candy, but they completely never bought that BS.
Andrea,
it's like candy.
People would say that.
But Crystal tries to trick them, and I'm like, they've eaten candy. They know the difference. They know you're lying. It's not like candy.
Yeah, like Andrea freezes raspberries and then gives them to May, and she's like, it's like candy. And May's like, this isn't candy. She's like a jerk about it, dude. She's like a real a-hole about it.
I need processed chocolate.
I want the Hershey's one with all the acid in it. It makes it taste like vomit. Give me that one.
All right, Pat. I feel like I don't know what we did today, but there was something.
You want to tell them what we're doing next time?
So, hey, Butler, bring in Pat's painting.
Yeah.
So, we...
Where's Butler? Did he run on an errand? I'll grab it.
Okay. He might be outside smoking weed.
So, you gave us a painting last time, Pat, and then I said that I was going to paint something, and then we're going to have a professional compare them both. And Samantha's putting on Twitch, and
there's the painting. You can check it out.
And so we're finding a professional artist that knows about. This would be considered abstract, right, Pat?
Sure. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's abstract. Yeah.
So
it's got like you know what I would call this? Mixed media.
Okay.
That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
That's what people say, and it's like upcycled mixed media painting.
So
art installation.
Literally, Travis bought me a canvas and paints and paintbrushes.
Spent like $300 on that.
I know. I was going to paint it
one
last
of those
night.
errands he was on.
Yeah.
So
super nice.
We're going to get a professional, and then I'm going to paint something, and then they won't know who painted what. They won't be. They won't be a.
Oh, Norm bought that painting. The Twitch.
That's right. He
chat
did.
room's reminding me we haven't delivered it to him yet.
But he said he would take a painting from Tom instead. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
I told him because he felt bad taking Pat's painting or buying it because
it was
Pat
specifically for
us. Yeah. So he's like, I don't want to buy it if Pat.
I understand.
And I was like, this it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You
can have it.
Are you being serious? Are you being GD serious? It's all just look at him. It's so ridiculous. Anyway, I will paint something, and then.
Do you have an idea of what you want to paint?
Well, I looked up the definition of abstract, and I'm going to go by that. Because,
I'm very interested to see how he interprets that.
I am too.
Because abstract, it cannot be of anything, because then that voids the category of abstract. It's got to be up to interpretation, and it can't be even it can't be an abstract tree.
But you're not going to do one of those.
Tree.
You're not going to do one red dot in the center or something, right?
No,
I hate those.
No, I'm going to have a theme, and
I'll people are trying to troll the art lover.
I'll walk you through the progressions because there's 12 different progressions of this painting, and you'll see it tells us.
Wait a minute, 12 steps. Okay, it's like Alcohol Anonymous.
It tells a story of our whole company and our friendship throughout the years.
Oh, he's lying now.
Well, that's all it is. It's a bunch of BS. You're Pat's gonna be like, no, this represents nothing. You're making it up. Guess who can BS better than anyone? Me, old Tom fan.
Well, I think the point is to see if you can pull off something that has some sort of artistic aesthetic to it. If you just slop the painting on there, I'm going to say, well, that's a sloppy painting. But if you,
not up to you. It's professional.
But at least Pat had a pattern. He's got
no pattern.
Yeah, there is a pattern. Yeah, absolutely, there is a pattern.
The Tom and Nan stickers.
Yeah, they're in a line and they go in a pattern.
Okay, all right, yeah, but it's abstract. The definition is
it
up
is,
to interpretation.
But there's still an element of order across those. There is order there. That's not just rando.
Okay, wait, put the stickers in a diagonal.
I know, but
okay, all right, I can do that.
If you're just going to start whacking the paint with brushes,
I'm not doing.
Okay,
listen.
All right. We'll see how.
Don't copy mine. That's not abstract.
Don't worry about that. I'm pretty sure I could, come up with another abstract idea.
I don't know. You've had the canvas for about a week, and inspiration must be just flowing.
I can do it at any time. Again, it's one of those things. I got better things to do, and I got business to handle.
He's been trying to find a trailer for 2 weeks.
I don't got time to do baby painting.
What if you painted a trailer?
No, that's not abstract. You'll see.
God, I hope you you turn it around. It's literally an oil painting of me. Perfect. I've got a collar on. I'm the king of Nova Scotia.
Here's the thing. If Pat would have given us an actual paint, like for our buddy Tony Munjet.
I can't get used to that. I call him Tony Camping World.
He painted a sailboat that we still have hanging in our house. I can't do that.
He painted that? I have a photo that he did.
Yeah. No, he gave me a painting.
Wow. That's right. He was painting for a bit.
And it was a sailboat. Now, that's beyond my capability. So that's what I'm kind of proving here with abstract. Is I cannot paint anything. I have no artistic ability, but I could do this.
Okay, fair enough.
This is in the art world. Bottom of the barrel. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Pat, have you done any more art installations?
If art was music, this is ICP.
Okay. All right. Have you done?
What about that banana that was taped onto the wall? I mean, how is that any different?
What? No, I'm going to say it's all garbage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Tom's saying that's garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know if you... that's the memo. That's the gander memo. Yeah. It's all garbage.
It's on the bottom.
It's all garbage and ganders. That's my biography. All right, Pat. I'm just clowning you. We love you.
Well, I love you guys too.
All right.
That got weird.
I had to say hello. I felt like I was too mean. I felt like I was too mean.
Tom was like the bully. He's like, it's all right. I'll hold him while my parents will all go. He's fine. He's fine. I didn't hurt him. I
think I got too mean.
Yeah, you
and
did.
then I was like, I don't run it back because Pat's a nice guy.
You did like what you'd used to do to your brother. You're making him do My Little Teapot. You're slapping his ass. And then your mom comes in and you're like, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah. Because,
so you have this painting ready by the next time I call in? Or how
I don't know.
That's the plan. Yeah.
It's loose around here.
Maybe.
It's loose.
Depends on if we want to move the segment.
Yeah. This is supposed to happen today, but then we anyway. You'll see.
We got to get out of here, okay? We got to start painting.
All right.
I
love you guys.
Pat, where can people see you real quick?
They can come to the Brass Tap in Waterford Lakes, the one in Waterford Lakes between the LA Fitness and the movie theater that's now closed. Or follow me at CadillacPat at CadillacPat, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. I'm TikToking now too.
Hey, we got a TikTok this morning.
Yeah, we just started. We had a show meeting about it. Daniel,
I started doing I'm doing the dance. You know?
Someone figured out how to do that dance.
Yeah, I was in a
How do you do that? God,
it's amazing. It's like he defies gravity.
You can't be a stiff white dude and do that dance. It's impossible. Anyway, all right, Pat. We'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, guys. Love you.
Love you too. Why'd you? Okay, the love you thing. Why'd you do the love you thing?
Well, I got freaked out. Because then I was
you did get freaked out.
I was like, oh, he's gonna kill us.
We love you. Don't kill us.
Yeah.
You're flying too close to these crazy characters.
No.
You are.
I keep them at arm's length.
No, I don't know.
Yeah.
You got T-Rex arms, man. They're coming. They're coming closer.
Yeah. No, they're close, but you got to keep them close. So that's how they don't kill you because you can see them.
That's true. All right. At least they're not in the fog somewhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You start like saying, "Get out of here," and then
then they really kill you because you give them planning time.
Yes.
Never give them planning time.
Yeah.
There is a photo on Cadillac Pat's Instagram that I don't know if you can find this quickly, but it's him on all fours on the beach with his long mane, and he's crawling across the beach. It's a bit intimidating. He kind of looks like Mufasa on the beach.
Oh, I have seen that one.
Oh yeah,
he could kill us.
I saw that one because I was trying to see if his girlfriend was a bikini.
I always do that too. If you want to know my progression in looking at photos, I instantly go Cadillac's Pat girlfriend. Oh, she's covered. All right, then I go to Pat. Goofy.
Where's the beach ones? Oh, God.
Beach. Oh, beach. Oh no, that's not. That's one of their friends. Beach. Oh, that's their friends.
Yeah.
That's what I do with everybody's.
Listen, me and Dan are just telling the truth. If you don't want to, you can't handle it.
Yeah.
You can't handle the truth.
This is reality.
Yeah. All right, bye-bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
So I got to send a message back to the cashed out guys. They're thanking. These guys are pros. They're like on Skype. They're like, "Thank you so much. We appreciate the opportunity." I'm like, "Good
They're
Lord."
also very sweet, and they're local.
So dinner with Shamu.
Yes.
I made the joke that we were gonna do dinner with Shamu because
who? Me and you?
The whole show.
Oh,
let's do it.
I don't even know if they offer that. Maybe even especially now, but the back in the day it used to be something where you could book a private reservation to eat in the restaurant, and then like somehow you'd see Shamu, or like I think he was in the tank next to you. Like SeaWorld has a restaurant that's next to a fish tank. Although I don't think it's a fish tank Shamu goes in.
Well, but it can be because they're all connected through a series of locks.
I don't know what even dinner with Shamu gives you, actually, but it was a thing.
I thought it was dinner.
Orca Encounter.
I thought it was dinner of Shamu.
Now, this was 20 years ago when the joke first started between me and my wife, and I'll explain what it is.
It used to be called Dine with Shamu. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Dine with Shamu.
Us fans, we
Dining
call it
with
dinner.
They should have called it Eating with Orcas. That sounds better.
Yeah, I do like that.
But anyway,
special orca occasion. I'll figure something out.
I believe it started because 20 or maybe even more years ago.
It started because Shamu loves twice-baked potatoes. Actually, and a lot of people don't know that.
It probably was
They are delicious.
I love a damn twice-baked potato.
Maybe a little less than 20 years ago because we were living in Orlando, but I was poor as hell, And then Crystal's birthday came around one year.
Oh, wait.
And
we know how good you are with gifts.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you that there dinner with that there fish panda bear.
And I freaked out because it was like 2 days left that I didn't prepare, obviously.
Oh, and I already bought her the Red Bull.
And then I was like, she loves animals.
Oh, this is the voice I do for a young you. You're like a country bumpkin. You're like, hey, I just got to the city. I don't even know what shoes is.
And it's funny, I came from Miami.
I know, but it doesn't fit my stereotype that I'm making here.
So
this is a fake show.
I get to like 2 days before her birthday, and I'm like, she loves animals. And then
I'll get her an animal.
I thought we had been to SeaWorld before, and she loved it. And then I was like, I'm gonna get her dinner with Shamu for her birthday.
I'm going to get her dinner with Shamu if it kills me.
And then I remember I tried to book it. Now, back then, this was like early 2000s. I didn't, obviously didn't go through the internet.
Calling dinner with Shamu. This is Harvey speaking.
And of course, with like 24-hour notices, like it was already booked. Like you'd have to book it.
Oh, you wanted it like the day before. Instant. Like show up or they're like, right this way, sir.
Yeah, I thought I could book it the day before on her birthday.
Yeah, that's like a year out waiting list or something, right?
So,
that's a young person's thing, though.
Yeah.
You don't think about reservations. And
then they told me...
You have the concept of time that my daughter has. Absolutely
like,
terrible.
why can't we just show up and eat?
So it's like, then you have to... they're like $180 a plate or whatever. I was like, what? Like, I couldn't afford... So...
What?
So I didn't book it, and nor could I afford it.
Have you ever actually reached in your pockets, there's nothing in there, and then you pulled your pockets out like a cartoon character to show people you have no money? Because I envision you doing that.
I've tried to buy stuff, and they're just like, I'm sorry, you can't buy this. You don't have enough money. I'm like, of course. I can't just buy something if I don't have the money. But I've tried. I'm like, maybe it'll work. Anyway.
Kids do that at 7-Eleven when they bring up candy bars and then they just slide coins over because they don't know the like what the coins are worth.
So I think I got her flowers or something, some crap, turtle on the side of the road.
And then, turtle and some flowers.
And then, but I told her that night that I wanted to get her dinner with Shamu, and one day I will. And then from that day forward, every single birthday and Christmas,
you are the Rudy of dinner with Shamu. Like one day,
yeah, every single birthday
next year
and Christmas. But now
you got to do it now.
She didn't even want it because I think we investigated further, and she's like, "This is stupid, not worth it." But it is
a buffet, and you hate buffets.
Yeah, she don't even.
I like buffets.
It's a bunch of stuff she can't even eat.
Yeah.
But anyway,
stuffed shells.
Every time I tell her I got her something for her birthday or Christmas or anything, she always says, "Is it dinner with Shamu?" That's a joke. That's been going on for
that is good.
Nearly 20 years.
But now you have to do it.
Yeah, one day.
Sam, try to book it now.
Yeah, I can. But now it's called Dine with Orcas.
Yeah, what does it come with?
Let's book it. And when she goes, because you'll go, I got you something big. And then she'll be like, is it dinner with Shamu? And you're going to be like, yes, it is.
I don't think she even wants
Dude, it's not bad now.
Then you win.
Dining with Shamu, it was $100 a plate, and it was a buffet style. This is only $30.
Yeah, it's just a dry. It's literally a Shamu cut out of a piece.
Well, it's starting at $30. It might depend on what
starting
day.
At $30.
This is not going the right way in my life. I needed to get more expensive because now I can afford it.
You don't tell her how much you paid.
I needed to be $30 back 20 years ago.
She'll know.
20 years ago, I could have covered that. Now I needed to be $300
That's
a plate.
BS, Sam. You can't get one of Shamu's fins for $30.
Yeah. What is this? This means it's a Uncle S.
Yeah, this means it's some guy cut it out of what is that board? He cut it out of plywood.
Yeah.
It's a plywood Shamu.
Yeah.
You put your head through it.
I can't imagine for $30. I mean, what kind of even dinner can you get that's nice for $30?
The starters are a house salad and basket of dinner rolls.
The
entree, you have a choice of roasted turkey with cranberry citrus relish or sweet garlic pork loin with apple cider chutney or lemon pepper salmon.
Yeah.
Okay. All those are out for her.
We got sides, mashed potatoes, stuffing.
Okay.
Seems like right now everything's pretty much like a Thanksgiving style.
She knows that she's destined to eat the side life for the rest of her life. She knows.
We do have allergen-friendly options.
Oh, yeah. No ants.
I'll tell that story later.
But I don't see any
No
vegan or
mosquitoes.
vegetarian options.
They probably do.
They
though.
probably do, but maybe they
but
just don't have it listed.
It's green beans with cheese melted on it.
Oh,
By the way,
man,
which is
that is disgusting.
That's a delicacy.
we were at a place now for my wife to even think that this place had a vegetarian option to begin with. Now this is pre-kids or whatever, but
Was it Texas State Brazil?
let's just say
They kill so many animals.
let's just say
They kill all the animals.
it was a very swampy house.
Okay.
Called Swamp House. They would call it Swamp. It's a Swamp House in Sanford. It's on the river. And when we were there,
Yeah.
which
It was the Irish Donald's.
the
mix.
And Crystal was sitting there, and then of course they have no vegetarian option. That's stupid. They
What?
would assume. And Crystal asked the waiter, like, "Hey, can I just have the cheeseburger?" Minus the meat, just literally just no meat, but cheese and all the other stuff. I'd like it's basically a cheese
like
sandwich,
a veggie sandwich with some cheese on. Cheese
with some
sandwich with
onion
veggies.
because she likes the onion, pickle, tomato, lettuce, and
She
the
likes
mayonnaise.
everything with a good part.
Yeah, no
Right.
meat, just the cheese,
Yeah.
and then the guy's like, Are you sure you want that?"
Ma'am,
yes, I do
mean,
want this.
I believe American law. I cannot do that, ma'am.
And then he's like, "All right." And then what he showed up with was green beans with melted cheese on top. And then
I know you said burger, but I went out on a limb and I got you the green beans Royale.
and then he said, "The chef thought you would like this better."
Chef Skeet.
So Crystal's like, "What?"
These are the finest of canned green beans with a craft single on top.
If I'm asking,
I am so confused.
if I'm asking for just a
Yeah,
cheese
get me
sandwich,
what I asked you for.
Like,
Don't make changes.
I'm in the mood for a sandwich. Like it's like just a green
I
beans.
know
and
you were
cheese.
in mood for sandwich, but
Like I could understand if she said, "I just make me whatever vegetarian." Then okay, that's
Surprise
fine.
me.
Just if you ask for a sandwich with no meat and you get green beans with cheese, oh, I laughed.
Yeah, she's the Twitch
I
chat
loved
room,
it.
twitch.tv/TomandInLive. She hasn't
It's
eaten
her
meat
fault.
forever, and she also is just a vegetarian, but probably leans a little more vegan. No meat, and
She
yes,
does
she
cheese,
absolutely
eggs.
loves animals. So yes, that's
Yeah,
to answer Twisted Movies question. Is it because of yes? It's because of animals and an intense love for all creatures.
When I met Crystal, she ate meat, but she ate chicken, and then every once in a while a Wendy's burger. Or
well,
like
that's
a
to
red
blow
meat.
everything out.
Yeah,
I do that too.
But-
That's like putting a lemon down your garbage disposal.
and then she stopped eating meat probably when she moved up to Orlando. So like 2001.
What was the catalyst?
It's a little crunchy over here. She
just-
ate a triple and then pooped her pants.
She just didn't eat that much meat to begin with,
So
and then
she's just like, cut it out. A little.
Andrea
Yeah.
doesn't eat a lot of meat.
And then
like,
she
believe it or
decided-
not, Andrea and Crystal actually eat fairly similar. Andrea hates chicken, loves fish,
Yeah.
and everything else is mostly vegetables. They're very similar in that regard. I've gotten to the point I'm kind of like you, not as vegetarian, but I don't have to have it. Whatever is,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Listen, I'm trying not to die, so
Yeah.
I have it sparingly. You know what I'm
I
saying?
do a lot of spaghetti now without meat because May doesn't want it in there, and I just make my own marinara with fresh tomato, or well, actually like the San Marzano tomatoes. I make it from scratch. It's awesome. Lighter. It's a lot lighter.
I always look at everything like, all right, what gives me the greatest enjoyment, and is and that I can do that is not good for me, but I have to cut out something else that is also not good for me. I can't have them both. You can't have everything, right? So
That's
you
true.
can't just eat whatever you want, and you can, but bad things are coming pretty soon. So then I look at like the red meat and the bacon and the food. Then I look at the alcohol. I'm like, what gives me more actual pleasure? I'm like, I'd rather have the
gotta pick
alcohol.
one. Yeah.
I can't do them both because it's bad news. So it's like I'm going to then cut out this bad stuff, the food, and then stick with the alcohol. Now, if I ever gave up alcohol, which I assume that one day I'll probably slow down to.
Well, you'll die.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that's when you stop.
And then I maybe uptick my increase in bacon. Because now I'll cut out alcohol.
It's all sliding scale. It's like
I can't have nothing. I can't have birdseed like Seth.
It's like how and the nerds out there get this. It's how I approach any game that's like an Assassin's Creed level up open world fighting game. Okay, You're gonna get points. You're gonna get points to give yourself maybe a little more charisma. You're gonna give yourself a little more strength. Maybe you run a little faster.
Yeah.
When I play, I don't max out my strength. I know some people would like. No, I go and I try to make everything pretty even.
Oh yeah.
I want to be
even it out.
I even it all out, so my character is well rounded, and that's what you're trying to do.
Oh yeah. You max out the strength.
We are like the most boring version of Assassin's Creed, and instead of like trying to topple the Templars or any of that, I'm just going to Home Depot to get some toilet paper rack that the cleaning lady knocked off the wall.
I don't want to eat too healthy.
It's a mission.
Because I feel like if I'm like a Seth or like Michael, like he old trainer, and
I'm like, what are you eating? He's like, I'm having a cup of bone broth.
It's
a cup of bone broth. He's like,
oh my god,
the antioxidants and the G5 elixir points are. Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, man?
Apparently, bone broth is like super healthy for you. But if you eat that healthy, I just feel like I'll be mad. If genetically
you did it 2 days ago, 3 days ago, you were mad because you said you were starving yourself.
Oh yeah, but starving. I'm talking about like, okay, I dedicate my life and cut out everything and eat birdseed and bone broth, right?
Right.
And then,
I'm birdseed.
And then like one day down the road,
it's your health gurus, birdseed and bone broth.
Just randomly because of genetics or whatever, they're like, I'm sorry, you have cancer. I'm like,
yeah, you gotta enjoy life a little bit.
I'll be extra mad.
Give me some bone broth. You're drinking it
because there's no.
Like we're all gonna die eventually. Yeah. Enjoy your life.
So there's no guarantee that this is going to make me live for an extraordinarily amount of time. If there was, then maybe I'll. But since it's kind of a randomness, because I see healthy people get sick and and then have problems and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, bad genetics, and then I'm like, well, damn it, I'll walk the tightrope, but I'm not going full bird seed.
No, never go full bird seed.
Because then I'll be too mad if it gets me anyway.
Well, it's gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know
it's all coming.
It's all coming for you. I mean, there's a reason that the Grim Reaper is a guy with a scythe, and he's standing there and he's like, beckoning you to follow him because you can't. It's not like you can escape him. He's like that Slender Man game. The ending's always the same.
Yeah. You can't escape him, but sometimes you could at least outrun him for a while.
Yeah. And while you're running, do you want to be drinking bone broth as you're running to the forest escaping Slender Man?
But you also don't want to be sitting down because you're like, on, you gotta get up. They gotta get you.
You gotta run.
A little bit.
Run.
I mean, you're you could get 100 yards down there. You can't even. Come on.
And then the only thing I've got to entice you to run is green beans with cheese on them, and that ain't gonna work. It's just not gonna. It's not enticing.
Oh man,
She gets the food curse so bad, man.
Oh yeah, she got it the other day.
She got it here at the studio.
Yeah.
So, although some people do amaze me because they are real bad living, and I'm like, man, you can't do that, bro. Like they're still like I still see some people that are like, man, you're like. Eating terrible, still smoking. I'm like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All like everything, like you're drinking Kool-Aid, like or something. Like you're like a pure fat Mountain Dew. Like this is bad. You're like, what are you doing to yourself?
Well, it's like
you're too old. Like not like an 18-year-old. They're 48.
Yeah. Well, no, I saw a guy obese. When I go and get my green poison, my Mountain Dews. I go to the 7-Eleven and I walked in. I saw a guy this morning. No lie, he filled up his Bubba Gulp, one of those big red and white cups. And he filled it up with full fat Coke. I mean, I'm talking all like no ice, just all sugar water. And then he got taquitos. And then now they have like a really impressive selection of like Latin pastries. There's like these little like casitos and then they got croquetas and all like little potato thing and he got all of that and a pizza.
Yes.
And it was $7.50. Almost 8:00.
He could be, was he in construction or a landscaper or working hard? Because you could work all that off. Like, you could eat pretty poorly as long as you're working it off.
And he was already real big man. You know, like
probably not.
6'2", maybe 3 and some change.
Oh, man. Okay.
Big guy.
I was driving, and then right here, literally.
It's just a lot of bad food.
On Corinne, right in front of old Big Daddy's, right there near Park Ave CDs.
Yeah, Park Ave and Big Daddy's karaoke bar, and
I saw, and they're busting up concrete in the old, like a gas station near there. And
they're putting in a new coffee spot.
There was 2 guys with sledgehammers, and literally I was sitting at the stoplight, and this dude was hitting the concrete with a sledgehammer as hard as he could for 30 straight times in a row. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's a hard job.
Get a jackhammer.
It's 9:30 in the morning. And I'm like, this guy is with all, like, he's swinging it so hard that he's up on his tippy toes on the downstroke. You know, like, he started from back here, like, and then
That's gotta be bad for your back.
Like you're trying to win that contest at the fair.
With every stroke, he's hitting it that hard with all his might and just
shaking all his bones.
And I don't even see the concrete do anything.
No.
He's just hitting it. And I'm like, oh my God, that's hard work.
There might be like some little hairline fractures in there, but that's it.
I'm like, that's a rough job.
And maybe Concrete Mike did the concrete work. It's really good.
And people have those jobs. Like that guy can eat as many taquitos as he wants. He's doing that for all day long. He's burning it off. Like, he's doing what MMA fighters do to train for his job 8 hours a day. And I'm like, but
he also has to do
the
that.
wear and tear that does.
My God.
It probably counteracts the exercise. Like, a doctor would be like, you're getting exercise, but you're also ruining all your joints and your bones.
You have a life expectancy of probably about 3 more years.
Yeah. You need to do this on a rower or something that doesn't have the impact of the sledgehammer.
Yeah, dude. Oh.
Yeah. And plus,
Sir, you're missing a finger and have not stitched that up.
You're smoking or pain pills. Like, it's a lot of other things. You
got your vices.
Smoking on pain pills is awesome, though. The combo would be pain pill, cigarette, and cup of coffee. Those
that's
three.
a good time.
Are you crazy?
Yeah.
If you want me to be ready for anything, if you came to my house and you're like, I killed my wife.
It's go time.
You're like, I killed my wife, and this is I need help, and you're gonna have to help me, and you've got me at gunpoint, and I'm like, all right, buddy, let's calm down. Let me get ready. I'll go to the bathroom. Pain pill, light a cigarette, brew a pot of coffee. Let's talk this out.
Yeah. You got a plan.
Yeah, and let's get a plan. And we got to execute it before this buzz ends. I only have a little bit of that caffeine and that mix, that sweet mix.
Normally, you poop your pants with the combination of coffee and cigarette, but the pain pill binds you up.
Right, exactly. That's why it's perfect euphoria.
Yeah. Then you could do some hammering.
Well, you can eat anything when you have a bunch of pain pills because you are constipated. So somebody's like, hey, do you want to eat 100 Crystal Burgers? You're like, yes, I can do anything I want. I'm a poop god now. I have nature's cork, but you just put it in your mouth. You don't,
But one day in jail, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, real bad. Real bad.
It's a real bad. All right. Bye-bye.